Hello, I'm Ben Samman Green, and welcome back to Australia Technology Park for the Logitech CGPL Season 2 Championships. We're coming up now for our second semi-final match. We have Team Immunity up against Chiefs Esports Club. Now, Team Immunity did beat Chiefs 2v1 earlier on in the Logitech CGPL Season 2 League rounds. However, Chiefs did recently beat Team Immunity in the right round of 8 in front of a live audience. Now, one of these teams is going to head through to our grand final later on in the day. Let's find out whether it's going to be Chiefs or Immunity. This is the Cyber Gamer Premier League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Australian Technology Park here in Sydney. My name is Mitch Ubelezi. I'm here with Jordan Elfish, Guy Mays, and the real question right now is, how does Ben get his hair to do that? It's like a spiral at the end. It's not even just like standard quiff. It's literally.
Didn't you give him some mousse this morning or something?
I did, but I didn't think I'd have that kind of result. That is intense.
Maybe I should get some.
It's like a pipe, like a wave, whatever. Anyway, we are in to our second match of the day. Of course, the Chiefs going up against Team Immunity, a grudge match if we've ever seen one. Yes. Of course, Immunity getting the better of them in the league play, but a lot has changed since then. Okay, the game was played probably not long after the Chiefs split from then Immunity, and they were going through some reformative period and stuff like that, and it's safe to say they had a bit of a dip in form early on. Yeah. Now, here's a bit of a different story. They are very, very solid. I've seen quite a few scrims from them, and they have been super, super strong. Picks and bans already underway. Jana, Karzik, Thresh being taken away from Immunity. Zerath, Syndra, and Lee Sin away from Chiefs. So, Spook's not going to have their Lee Sin there, but I'll tell you what, he's got a ridiculous amount of jungles at his disposal.
Yeah, well, Team Immunity in the round of 8, which was just about a week ago, a little bit over that, banned Zillion, Zerath, and Lee Sin 3 times in a row against Chiefs. So they've substituted that Zillion ban for a ban on Syndra, which is interesting because Swiffer really only played one game on that Syndra, and that actually turned out to be the game that Team Immunity won. So maybe recently in some scrims or something like that, they might have been having some issues with that Syndra. So that's why they've decided to ban that one away instead of the Zillion, which has historically been one of their most banned champions.
There are a lot of champions that Swiffer can take in response to that. Like, a lot. His pool is well developed. I've seen him pick Ari. He's quite happy to take Yasuo in this situation if he has to as well. Zed. Swiffer is a god on that Zed. Claire will probably want to take that off him here. Zillion, the hover over, and picked up straight away. Maybe Immunity should have thought about that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that has been their ban. They ban it all the time, and the one time they let it through now, instantly going to be picked up there by Swiffer. So maybe they've kind of decided, they've figured out how to play against that Zillion or something like that, and now they know they can let it through. Of course, the Jace there picked up on the side of Immunity a decent matchup into the Zillion.
The question is, will Immunity letting that ban slip through come back to bite them on the rear end? They've got a Zillion Rise here as well on Chief. That is super strong. Rise already has a speed boost from Desperate Power. A Zillion speeding him up. It makes it a lot easier for him to get to grips with his opponents. Swiper, the man of the moment, of course, known probably more for his Tryndamere play, not unlike Tosis, of course, actually is opted for a different pool in recent times. His Irelia is also quite strong, but Rise looks like he's sitting himself on a comfort pick here. A lot of focus towards Swiffer. The problem is Swiffer's probably got the biggest champion pool on Chiefs. Yeah. And you try and ban him out. 3 bans is just not enough.
Yeah, so now Uber Bro sitting on that Cork. He has played that a few times. Picked it up twice in the last match that these two met up against each other. And Alistair for, it looks like Alistair for T-Gun, which is quite interesting. Hasn't played that in a little while.
All right, we'll have to see how that eventuates and how that really makes his place inside that team. Probably don't know if that's a response to any particular champion pick or not. Should say that Raydeer is on his Lucian. Very comfortable pick for him. Corki or Lucian, really, Raydeer is very, very happy with.
One of the best Lucians in Australia, if not the best, to be honest. Raydeer very accomplished on that champion. We'll have to see now. Actually, that might even be a support Zillion. We haven't really considered that yet.
No, it's possible. Rosie has been known to play that one as well.
Yeah. Actually, remember, he was the first one to pick that up.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
It's a flex pick as well in this situation as well. And it really makes it hard for Immunity to sort of predict, I guess, what the rest of the picks are going to be looking like for them at this stage. Now, waiting on picks from Radiant, well, waiting on 2 more picks, should I say. It's going to be a jungler and of a support, potentially, or a mid laner, as you did say. But it's going to be that Jace in the mid lane going up against the Zillion. We know that's a fairly comfortable one. Claire Is that a pick that he will normally go for?
No, it doesn't really. I mean, I usually kind of consider him to be like the Oriana, Syndra kind of player, but looks like he's going for a little bit more of a pokey kind of champion here with that Jace. T-Gun the Hover, that's a T-Gun hovering Blitzcrank. Very standard of him, but definitely not going to be the pickup here.
Yeah, he's shooting me a look out of the corner of his eye, waiting for us to pick up on that. That's probably just his standard one there. He's going to have a look and through and see. Obviously, he needs to pick a jungler up here for Zahe, and Evelyn would be a big pick for him. Of course, we missed out the Pantheon lock-in here for Spooks. We have seen this.
Yeah.
We've seen plenty of him throughout
I actually
Worlds.
really like Pantheon in the jungle. I think it gives a lot of global pressure at level 6, obviously, with that ultimate of his Grand Skyfall, and just so much, you got to be so safe, like again with Twisted Fate, but the difference is, when Twisted Fate is in the mid lane, you know when he's disappeared, so you kind of know, well, we need to be careful now. But Pantheon, being a jungler, is always kind of moving around the map. You might not always know where he is, and always a threat.
Now, Morgana being picked up for Rosie here as well, and as I do say, we're going to see Zahe's Evelyn here. His absolute #1 pick. A lot of people banned this away from him. They actually didn't want T-Gun to have Thresh or Janna. So, yeah, a lot of bans aimed at him. So, yeah, Zahe on Evelyn, we know how aggressive he likes to be early on. Immunity probably want to shut him down as quick as they can. They've
banned his Kha'Zix away, which honestly I think is probably his strongest champion. We haven't seen his Evelyn in a while, but
because it gets banned out every game.
Yeah, exactly. That Kha'Zix has been a monster in the recent game, so they've banned that away. Didn't like going up against that one in the last matchup that they had between two. But here we do have our two sides. Looks like pretty strong team coming out from both these guys, actually.
Absolutely. The Morgana being picked up here for Rosie. Now, let's have a talk about that. Thresh was banned away by Chief, so Rosie wasn't going to be playing that champion as strong as it has been in his hands. No inclination towards Nami here. Is this pick a response to the Alistar?
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason? Morgana was super strong, and then she kind of dwindled a bit when we saw a couple of balances made to her. I think especially her Black Shield as well had, I think, a reduction in duration, or at least a cooldown increase. So why a pick here now of the Morgana?
It's really like, you look at all this CC coming out from the side of Immunity. They've got Maokai and Alistar, absolutely a counter pick to those two guys. So whoever Maokai jumps on is going to get a Black Shield instantly, and you're not going to be able to do anything. And even Alistar, I don't even know if they can really pop through that Black Shield without wasting a lot of their abilities. And, that's going to make it quite difficult here for Immunity to get an engage onto anyone on Chiefs. And even then, if they do manage to get through that Black Shield, they've, of course, got the ultimate there from Zillion, going to be reviving everybody, whoever gets killed on the side of Chiefs.
This is a big, beefy lineup for Immunity. Maokai and Alistar in the same team. Now, one problem that often plagues team compositions like this is a lack of damage.
Well,
if you don't get out of the early game fairly strongly, you're lacking damage sources, really, or ones that can really close the gap and put the damage to good use. Obviously, Maokai never really wants to do tons of damage. He's going to be a big guy. The same to be said for Alistar. So now the onus really quite heavily sits on Claire and Uberbro to get fed. We know that Zahe is probably going to be looking for something, like a Randuin's or like a bit of a tankier backbone to the Evelyn, as we've seen that being built in recent times. So again, that shifts more pressure now on towards Claire and Uberbro to do the damage.
Yeah.
And Immunity don't really have that restriction placed on them so much because we know how much damage Pantheon can do. He maybe suffers from some fragility in fights that he hasn't picked well, but the ones he has, it's very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, even if Immunity get too far behind, they do have that sort of fallback where they can just sort of sit under towers and poke Chiefs out because of that. Jace and Corki going to bring a lot of poke damage to their team. So Chiefs might have a little bit of difficulty pushing down these towers.
Let's see how that eventuates here. I mean, we've got Swiffer in mid.
A lot of wave clear there, though.
You can see Swiffer really wants to fight. He does have his Ignite there, so he's going to want to really just chunk down Claire. Constant harassment. The time bomb's always going to be coming down towards Claire as well. Claire is a very capable mid laner, probably one of the youngest in the comp, at least here today.
Actually, he wasn't able to play in the last season of Riot or something like that. So he's only recently come back into the Immunity team. I believe Kenster used to play for Immunity, which was back when they were playing on Dignitas or Frey, all that sort of stuff going on crazy. But now Claire's back in the side, I think probably bringing them back up in strength a little bit. You would say Immunity at the moment probably at their strongest.
I think so. I think we've really seen them go up against Chiefs quite recently, actually, of course, in the round of 8 at EB Expo, and they took a game off them. They took a game off Chiefs in that game as well. So
quite convincingly as well.
Yes. It was a strong start with a very good finish.
Yes.
Their objective control is good. Now, the problem is that Chiefs always lane well. You need to smash them in lane to give yourself the breathing space to be able to pull a fast one on them in the mid lane, in the mid-game, should I say.
Yeah.
Radier rarely loses lane.
Yes.
Rarely loses lane. He's so very, very confident. And, you know, if you want to dismantle Chiefs, you need to start with Radier, essentially. And that bottom lane is going to be very, very important here. And, hey, who better to do it than T-Gun and Uberbro, of course.
Yeah.
You know, those guys are definitely going to have to make some plays happen. The Alistar pick is interesting from T-Gun. You know, it almost implies less of a tendency to want to engage. Well, he can engage, of course, but maybe he's just trying to drag Uberbro sort of by his collar through that lane. We'll have to wait and see. The top lane, we probably won't see a lot. The Rise Maokai matchup is one we're fairly familiar with, and is generally not super exciting. But the junglers, this is our featured matchup of this game as well.
Yeah.
Spooks and Zahe. Zahe, super aggressive, very like Yozora or Chelby in the way that he plays. He's always trying to get in there early. Spooks actually is probably more, although he's very aggressive as well, his counter ganks are on point.
Absolutely.
He is always there. He's always there. And more often than not, it's in the mid lane, keeping Swiffer alive.
Yeah.
Always. And he jumps in sort of later on. And if you're coming in second to a counter gank as a jungler, you will probably win it.
Yeah.
So that's why Spooks makes himself look pretty damn good. He also makes Swiffer look good as well. I don't think Swiffer will need too much gank pressure here, but the counter ganks from Spooks are going to be absolutely deadly.
Yeah, so a little bit more defensive starts as usual. You can see coming out from both these sides with the ward changes. They're pretty much always just playing pretty safe and no invades. It's too risky because you could be standing on a ward anywhere. We saw that last game, I believe. Envy standing on a ward. Nothing came of it, but you could see them having a little bit of issues trying to get into the blue buff.
Okay, now lines of scrimmage drawn down the map. No one wanting a bit of level 1 action at all. And the wards being placed are actually reflecting that as well. T-Gun putting one fairly forward. He obviously not really in a position to start any fights. Another star with only one skill is not really that intimidating here. I want to see the kind of start that Zahe can get himself off to. We know Evelyn's first clear gets pretty dicey. It's not easy. It's easier now with changes to the jungle. But it used to be it used to almost go down to 50 health almost trying to take that second buff.
Well,
so
it's not quite as bad as back in the day when you had to use Revive Smite on Evelyn. So at least there's that going for Zahe.
Don't give away my special Silver Elo jungle. Try to do that, come on.
Wow, please.
It still works, guaranteed. Nonetheless, going to be a red buff start here for Chiefs. So Spooks looking potentially towards the top lane to make something happen, and it is mirrored on the red side of the map. Of course, Zahe wants his red. So we may not see the junglers come head-to-head early on, and it may not even be a counter gank that we see.
Well, Zahe wouldn't want to be going head-to-head early on at all.
Like his element is surprise, and if he gets that turn on him, Evelyn is trash in a counter gank. She's fragile, and her strength comes in, of course, the element of surprise and being able to put damage down before your enemy knows what's even happening. So that is where Spooks is going to be trying to turn the tables here. Radier, confident as always, already putting out some damage towards T-Gun and Uberbro.
Level 2 advantage is going to go over to Uberbro and T-Gun, which is a bit risky. T-Gun, of course, on Alistar at level 2, pretty strong, probably up there with the likes of Thresh in one of the top two or three level 2 support champions. But I don't think anything's going to come over this. The immunity bot lane a little bit too close to the tower for anything to happen.
And that's a second phosphorus bomb from Uberbro that has missed Radier. Radier mechanically able to dodge that. And as a result, he's dominating in these trades. Look at he's coming forward. He doesn't care. Look how low Uberbro's going there. He's one hitting it. T-Gun trying to do something. But as soon as he knocks out Radier, Uberbro gets zoned away from Rosie, who is very healthy himself. Chiefs, with the run of the lane in that bottom so far, you can see that T-Gun, he might be healthy. He might be a cow. But I think Radier's still going to try and milk those.
I think T-Gun may have made a little item error here. Of course, he likes to go Ancient Coin on Alistar. Does it quite a lot, but you really feel like Relic Shield might be a little bit more useful in this lane.
Well, I mean, Alistar does have Triumph and Roar for a little bit of stun. Here's Spooks in the top lane, though. Going to jump on towards Haruka. Wow, the stun still hit before the flash actually worked out. That's a Rune Prison as well. Haruka going to go super low. Surely dead first blood to the Swiper man. And Swiper be Swipe in this game. It's a good start for him.
Yeah, we did speak about this last night, just before we were kind of going to bed, and we thought probably if Chiefs want to really snowball this game away, they need to target Haruka, who is actually J.K. Smithy, by the way, if anyone didn't know that. So, you know, he kind of probably the weakest link on Immunity's side, and if they can get a few snowballing things going their way, which actually happened in Game 2 of the last match, meet-up between these two teams, Haruka kind of tilted a little bit.
Yep. The thing about J.K. Smith is that he's a solid laner, but you rarely see him coming out like massively on top in a lane. He just holds on well. When he's a bastion of strength for his team, but rarely does he create plays and turn himself into a really scary threat unless he gets inordinately fed early on, which doesn't normally happen. The focus of Immunity isn't really towards him, generally speaking, and you can see that Zahe made a beeline for the bottom lane and actually didn't manage to make the gank stick. So Swift now going to get jumped up by Claire. A lot of damage coming from Claire. Claire does have a bomb on his head. Ooh, the Ignite going to go down as well. Will it be enough? The tower hit goes on towards Claire, though. Turn around. Swift just got the level up and is just healthy enough now. Zahe tries to make another gank. It doesn't manage to make it stick again. His second time in a lane, and his second time walking away disappointed. Yeah,
Claire going backwards and forwards under that turret. Not sure whether to keep going for another auto or back out. And, of course, that hesitation cost him the death there.
He had that.
Which is really unfortunate for him because it looked quite good. But Spooks again in the top lane.
Why not dive Haruka day and day long? Here we go. Haruka now. Will he be able to get away? No. Plenty of projectiles there to be thrown, and Spooks just dive on him. That's what they target JK Smithy. As you said, as a weaker link, or ostensibly a weaker link on Immunity, he's going to get jumped on frequently, and Spooks is going to be farming gold. And hello, it's getting Swiper fed at the same time. It's just a huge bonus there. We can see T-Gun going to have to headbutt Radier away. Look how low Uberbro went in that trade.
Yeah, things not looking good across the map for Immunity. They did have a pretty decent matchup against Chiefs in the round of 8, but things looking to be going in the favor of Chiefs at the moment. Obviously, Immunity did kind of draw those games out quite a little bit, but in the end, they did overall go towards Chiefs.
Chiefs look prepared. They look settled. I mean, Immunity look like they're suffering from some jitters. Zahe not able to really make it happen. Radier coming forward again. Black Shield going to be paying dividends there as a little bit of damage coming out in response, and just a massive trade win in Radier's favour. And now he will continue to snowball that CS lead as well, 39-28. Radier doesn't lose lane. Rarely does it happen. And Rosie doing a huge job supporting him as well. Rosie doesn't even have to go for these big dark bindings. He just needs to give Radier the freedom to come forward, harass, stay safe.
Yeah,
that's all he's
Radier is essentially 2v1ing at the moment. And Rosie just sitting there for a little bit of backup. Nice dark binding there going across, and that's really going to hurt Uberbro again because he has no HP, no pots. He does have heal available, but I don't think that's going to be enough if Radier decides to go all in on him.
There we go, Swiffer. Going to get jumped on here. We just see the shock blast come in, but he's well and truly able to get away. And
Time Warp, giving a bit of extra speed.
It's really hard to kill Zilean. Really hard.
You can't kill Zilean.
And there's not really any CC between Zahe and Claire that are going to be able to lock him down.
Yeah, and ulti was available for him as well.
And this leaves Spooks free to continue diving on Haruka, like, every single time. And bot lane if he actually had to go, which he doesn't really. Claire wants Swiffer. Swift going to be forced to use a Chrono Shift there. Spooks coming in as well. Trying to try and chase down towards Claire. I don't think he'll catch him there, but Chrono Shift still drawn out of Swiffer there. Claire definitely getting the advantage there. Absolutely, and he's don't be fooled. Claire is in the lead by 5 CS here. So despite that mistake he made earlier on, he's definitely still been able to stay in this one, competently laning against arguably the best mid laner in Australia.
Yeah. All right, a bit of ward clearance going down here. Maybe an early dragon. The thought process here from Uni. We have seen him do it quite recently, doing it quite a lot. They had quite a lot of dragon control against Chiefs in their last matchup, but obviously wasn't enough to get them the win. So I do favour immunity for these dragons, but at the moment, not really the option.
The biggest difference is in our featured matchup today. 66% of Spooks' ganks have been successful, 0% of Zahe's have, and it shows. It shows on his team in terms of where there are gold-wise, should I say, in terms of how they're laning. Spooks is relieving pressure all over the map. And Claire really is trying to get to grips with Swiffer here, but he can't. You can see Swiffer again, quite happy to stand there and just put bombs down on Claire's head. It's a trade. Oh, there's the bait. And
Zahe's
Claire forced to come forward. Will it be the counter gang? Spooks is going to come forward. No vision in that bush. Zahe's going to turn around, put Agony's Embrace down. Swiffer going to go low. Chrono Shift is not available here. Teleport going to be forced out of Swiper as well. There goes the kill over towards Claire, but look at the knock up there. Spooks might be in trouble as well. T-Gun does well to rotate towards mid lane. Double kill comes up for Claire. Swiper now left to try and clean up what's left, and he will take one down. There goes Claire. He's going to chase her towards T-Gun. Well, doubtful that he has the damage right now, and a bit of a casual headbutt away. Sends Swiper packing. That definitely went in favour of immunity there. And Zahe pulling a bit of a Spooks with a clever little counter gank. Forcing the teleport as well, might I just say, out of Swiper, just to try and get something for Chiefs trouble.
Yeah, and they did actually get a kill off the back of that. Swiper now got 2 kills in his pocket. Going to be feeling pretty happy up in that top lane. Maybe it would have been a good idea for Haruka to kind of teleport down there. Would have probably stopped the death onto Claire, and also might have been able to pick up Swiper as well for himself. So maybe an error in judgment. It does allow them to have that teleport advantage. Dragon is up. It is an option. There's a lot of ward coverage around there for immunity as well. So I reckon that might be what they're going to go for in just a sec. You can see Zahe and Claire as well heading straight for it, and the pig going out there. I reckon Dragon is on the cards for immunity right now.
If immunity want a Dragon, Uberbro has to stop taking, eating dark bindings. He's got to stop taking free damage. Chiefs are pushing that bot lane on purpose. They are trying to give themselves plenty of margin to rotate around that dragon. A lot of vision over there for Immunity, and they are heading that way now. But where's the freedom here? Uberbro and Tegan can't just leave bot lane and expect Chief, like Radier and Rosie not to try and come back towards them now. Claire keeping Swiffer away in that mid lane. Going to try and clear some wards as well. Zahe coming around the edge as well. Won't be spotted out by that pink, and now he is seen. Swiffer doesn't have Chrono Shift available. He does, should I say. And now Zahe's going to have to back on away. Whoa, a lot of damage. Swiper has hit the deck, and oh dear, that last overload really chunked down. I mean, Zahe is fragile. He is fragile.
He is absolutely. Evelyn, that's one of the kind of weaknesses of her in the early game, of course. Does not have a lot of HP, and that's showing there. Obviously, Zahe being taken out, and that's not a good time to be taken out at all. This gives Chiefs free dragon, which when really it should have been a dragon in the favor of Immunity, given that teleport advantage.
I'm not sure what the idea was for Zahe. Yes, with Evelyn, you need to make ganks, but when you don't have vision, you don't know where Swiper is. You know he's not top lane because Haruka's been there the whole time doing what he does. Why would you go in for that? You just get it turned around on you completely. Uberbro now getting completely out-traded there. Tiga going to get Dark Binding. Maybe he ate that one for Uberbro. I'm not sure. Going to buy that Corki a little bit more freedom there. Still, Radier absolutely dominant in this lane. 14 CS ahead. Got a BF sword in his inventory already, as opposed to the Ruby Crystal, of course, and the long sword. Uberbro trying to work towards that phage.
Yeah, and the problem at the moment, I think, in the bot lane for Immunity is Uberbro is not hitting Missile Barrage or Phosphorus Bomb at all. Every time I've seen him, it's pretty much been a miss. Chief Radier, as you say, he's got that dodge, but I mean,
he doesn't have to use it.
Doesn't really have to use it. He's just missing everything. So Uberbro, a lot of the effectiveness of Corki is, of course, getting those skill shots down. And if you're not hitting those, then the damage is not coming across. There we go. See, the first Missile Barrage that I've actually seen hit.
That's great. Yes, he's hit level 6. That is good. Corki gets a strong lane. Grand Skyfall going to come down. Zahe ready for the counter gank again. Agony's embrace towards Spooks. Will be enough. A lot of damage on towards Claire. He's going to try and return some of his own. Going to take Swiffer fairly low, but can he do... Well, no, he can't. He doesn't have enough damage to respond, and Zahe was really recalcitrant about jumping into that fight and really didn't want to extend too far. He kind of knew Claire was going to be struggling for health, and that's the damage that Pantheon brings to a fight. Heartseeker Strike took so much health off Claire now in the bot lane. T-Gun getting caught up, going to get chunked down. Free damage is good damage for Chiefs, and now the culling going to come out towards T-Gun. He's going to go very, very low. Did not fall.
That Dark Binding lasts forever. T-Gun just sort of standing there for, what was it, 2 or 3 seconds nearly. The Dark Bindings, as we say, for Morgana, pretty strong ability.
Yeah, and I think rank 4 Dark Binding is like 3 seconds route. It's ridiculous. Swiper towards Haruka now. Wow, Haruka can't win the trade. Hello. It's 3 kills on that rise already. Haruka in no position to really be able to fight him at all. And look how low he went on the top lane. Radier and Rosie again pushing, continually trying to forge advantages in that bottom lane. Water that push as well. Dragon not a consideration right now. So Chiefs, can you imagine how it would feel right now to be Spooked? So much freedom for you to go where you please.
Really good.
Yeah, Grand Skyfall's on cooldown, but you know that every time you've been to a lane, pretty much, with the one exception, good things have happened. He's won 1 of 3. He's definitely made his impact, and Zahe has not. That is the biggest difference right now. That is why Swiper is so big.
Yeah, and something that I kind of want to touch on is T-Gun's item build here. I really don't agree with the Moby Boots pickup. I think they're getting in a little bit of trouble in lane. Moby Boots obviously not going to help you in any trades at all, and he hasn't really used it to roam at all, apart from that one time in mid lane. Which worked, but 12 minutes into the game, Moby Boots not giving you any stats at all. You're not tanky enough on Alistair to be doing anything, and I think it's really hurting them in lane. Especially
when Chiefs seem quite happy to continue laning. They actually haven't taken that turret down. They're comfortable just laning for now. They know that Spoos can get there if he has to, and they just really want to just try and farm up. Radier wants to continue to try and build a lead. Now, Uberbro has caught up to him at this stage. Pink Ward is an effective bait now. Black Shield towards Radier in preparation as well. T-Gun knows he just has to back away. Got to dodge a little bit there, but where's the rest of his team? T-Gun, he does this. He is a chronic overextender. You can see that Radier and Rosie don't really want to burn anything, but now that ultimate is no longer available for T-Gun.
Yeah, and that's pretty important as well, because we've just spoken about the Moby Boots. He's relying on the ulti for the tanky stats, and now that that's down, he's essentially useless.
Yeah. And this is the J.K. Smithy story right now. He's not getting he's getting shoved around. He's not getting shoved out of lane. He hasn't really been able to use that teleport effectively yet this game. And there's no reason then for you to be behind in lane if you haven't been teleporting down. Swiper has been everywhere, and it's still paid off. Having that teleport has been important for him. He's gotten to the fight. He's 3-0-1. Hello. That being said, Spooks has helped out a lot. But Swiper looking very, very comfortable right now, and he's all over it.
And Radier looking really comfortable in the bot lane as well. You could see the gank kind of hovering around there for immunity, but Uberbro just took a ton of damage to the face. Corki, of course, getting out-traded by Radio in those quick trades, and that kind of spelt the end for that gank for Zahe.
Okay, well, 14 minutes, 15 seconds into the game, taking stock of things. It's a small gold lead to Chiefs at this stage, but from little things, big things grow, and that is generally how Chiefs make those strong leads later in the game. They're looking towards the next Dragon in a minute and a half, and so far, Immunity are really just trying to hang on in lane. Haruka's still got a decent amount of fun. Wow, Spook's jumping right on top there. And,
he's got the ulti off Swiffer available, but decides not to use it.
Oh, it was quite a deep extension, to be fair. T-Gun managing to dodge the Dark Binding. He has done that pretty well. Mechanically, T-Gun is pretty good at dodging skill shots as well. And the culling to no avail there by Radiant, just trying to force the combination out of lane. Again, they're coming forwards, though. They want this tower. I think Radiant's probably fed up. He wants to try and roam a little bit here. And the Immunity bot lane had been very quiet this game.
Yeah, this tower would be a pretty huge pickup for Chiefs right now if they could pick that up. Dragon in a minute because, if they do pick that tower up, they can push that lane in, force Immunity to kind of take care of that bot lane while they're doing Dragon, and that would result in another free Dragon for Chiefs and put them even further ahead. And Chiefs really just playing the slow game. Not too many kills coming out so far, but the objectives and that sort of thing really in the favor of Chiefs. Their CS as well, mostly across the board an advantage.
Zahe returning from base with a Spirit of the Elder Lizard. Also looks like he might be looking at a Hex Trigger at some point along the line here. Maybe just to deal with Swiffer. I'm not sure.
Well, there is a fair bit of magic damage. Swiper and Swiffer, of course. And also, I guess, Rosie.
Wow, Spook's going to jump onto Claire. And yes, of course, Claire again caught out. Swiper is everywhere this game. He didn't even use teleport for that one. He just flat out roamed because he's crushed top so hard. Immense amount of freedom to rotate. And now, with 8 minutes left on the clock, Chiefs have timed that very, very well to try and push for a Dragon here. Spook's at half health, but that should still be more than enough at this stage. Haruka does not have teleport available. Not for the next 10 seconds at least. So now Dragon going to get started off. A heck of a lot of damage. Heartseeker Strike, great for taking down those objectives. Rosie just clearing wards, and essentially now it's a 4-man Dragon. Radiant on the scene, and there's nothing Immunity can do about it.
Yeah, perfect timing there from Chiefs again. So the free objective going over to them, they're going to be happy about that. Haruka, which is JK Smithy for those asking in Twitch chat, is actually trying to push this top tower. I don't think he's going to get it. You can see Swiffer here going to pop a couple of bombs down onto that. Actually, he's going to go after Haruka here.
Goes towards him, at least trying to force him away. And Swiper as well going to jump on Haruka. Look, he's not super tanky. It's only the Rod of Ages still on that Maokai. There's a lot of damage from Swiper as well. He's chasing on for Maelstrom. Going to be mitigating some of the damage, and the flash being forced there. Oh, interesting flash there.
How embarrassing.
Oh, I don't really think that was what intended. Was intended, but nonetheless, a red turret has been dropped again. So there we go. Tower's been taking the bot lane. Swiffer getting turned on by Zahe. Zahe does have the damage. Hate Spike's coming out as well. Bit of a speed up from Swiffer. The flash forward. Zahe wants it. No chronoship. This could turn right around on Zahe. Great timing there from Swiffer to keep himself alive. And Swiper going to clean up the mess. He's 5-0-1. He is a blue monster.
And you do not want a Ryze to be getting ahead of you in the early game. He scales so well into the late game, and this is just looking very, very grim at the moment for Immunity. The Ryze 501, as you say, up on CS as well, which is, not a huge amount, but even still, he is doing very well for himself in that top lane, and you would expect Swiper going to be able to carry this game forward. Very, very tanky at the moment.
I'd like to point out as well, the bottom lane of Immunity, while we maybe cast a negative spin on it, have played very, very well. They have not died. They haven't committed to any sort of trades that would sort of put them at a disadvantage there. They have done well. T-Gun now, Unbreakable Will being forced here. Going to take a lot of damage. Spooks wants a bit as well. Just going to jump on him as Uberbro does join the fray. Is able to force the Chiefs back. Swiper a little bit low after that one. Still, 3 towers to 1. The gold lead blowing out very, very quickly to about 6k.
Yeah, the good news is, though, Uberbro has picked up his Trinity Force, but having said that, Radio also having picked up his first major item, which is the Infinity Edge. So both these 80 carries hitting a little bit of a power spike. I reckon Uberbro probably having a little bit more of a power spike. The Trinity Force probably worth a little bit more than the Infinity Edge at this stage, but scaling into the late game, Infinity Edge really does start to pay dividends when you start getting those crit stacks up.
I expect to see Uberbro still be impactful in this game. He is absolutely going to be relevant. You saw how quickly Chiefs turned tail in mid when they saw some of the missile barrages coming over the wall. Chiefs are still not keen to fight head-to-head like that. Swiper will go towards Zahe here and try and catch him. Nice little speed boost on him there, but Zahe getting out to safety. Zahe struggled, really, to make his impact on this game. Hasn't done a lot of counter-jungling. I think he's just been trying to get his ganks to stick right now, and they just haven't been. So, bit of a lane freeze there.
No, Spook's doing the nice thing there, letting Swiffer get all those creeps with the bomb off his head.
Yes, well, he's going to continue to farm up. He's got his Athene's on Holy Grail there as well, and it looks like it's an Archangel staff to follow. Already stacking that tier up, no doubt. He'll be getting very, very, very impactful, I guess. You know, playing that sort of more supportive AP carry, you know he's looking to really help out Radier, Spooks, and Swiper to a big extent. Can you imagine throwing a bomb on Spooks' head and having him jump the back line with a bit of AP? That's nasty.
That's GG.
Pretty much. Spooks now back
Right,
away.
a bit of aggression going around here. Zahe's going to be in trouble here, I think.
I don't think Zahe wants to fight Swiper. If you can lock him up with like Agony's Embrace and slow him, maybe look at the damage coming down. It's a lot of burst. Grand Skyfall's going to come straight down on top of T-Gun here, but Spooks doesn't want T-Gun. Good pick up there though from Zahe. Now Spooks caught amongst it. T-Gun is going to be able to help take him out there. We do see the knock up as well. The Trains of Corruption come out. Great fight
Amazing
there from
fight.
Immunity. Now the chase is on though. The culling coming out. One gets picked up already. Dash forward, flash forward, should I say, on towards Zahe. Double kill. Radier is going to try and clean this one up. Claire, just enough health to get away. There's a speed boost on towards Radier just to help out. But I think Claire and Uberbro might be able to get away. Quick turnaround from Claire to put a bit of extra damage down again. Uberbro, no! Getting caught too close. Radier going to pick that one up as well. He is cleaning up. First Swiper, now Radier. Huge run for him. He's now 3-0 after that fight. And while it looked good, initially it was good from Immunity, but they were all so low. The amount of damage spread by Swiper there was just devastating.
Oh, Claire's in trouble.
Oh, no, he wants to... Oh, that's a shame. He wants a bit of Swiffer, but Chrono Shift is an annoying move, and Swiffer's just going to walk away from the explosion
classy.
without looking at it because he's a cool guy.
Yeah, and actually the issue there for Immunity was Haruka was a little bit late to the fight. They actually got the picks they needed. They got Swiper down. That was really important. But Haruka, you could see, running behind Radier and Swiffer on full HP had done nothing in that fight. If he had been there maybe 2 seconds earlier, it could have been a completely different fight for Immunity. Might have got them back in the game, but unfortunately, Radier now sort of sprinting ahead of Uberbro. They were pretty even in lane, even though we were kind of trashing on Uberbro and T-Gun a little bit. But now Uberbro definitely behind Radier.
Well, I mean, there was so much that Chiefs had at their disposal to really cut down Immunity before Radier rocked up. The amount of damage coming out from Swiper right now is pretty disgusting. You got an early Rod of Ages, a lot of gold on him as well. Now he's starting to go for a little bit more defensive items. He doesn't need the damage. Look at that, he's quite happy to deal with Uberbro there. The rest of the cavalry's going to arrive, but Swiper easily able to walk away, and Uberbro limping after that one. Or at least his Earth is probably not too pleased at the moment with his rider. You can see Chiefs continually coming forward here. 3-0 on Radier, 3-1-5 on Swiffer. A lot of gold in their pockets, and you can see the gold lead is continuing to stretch out.
Yeah, about 7k now. Dragon up in 45 seconds. A lot of ward coverage down there for Chiefs, but nothing at the moment there for Immunity. And Immunity kind of being zoned out of there as well. Their entire jungle being warded up by Chiefs. This is not a good situation at all for them. I think this Dragon is going to go over to Chiefs for free. Haruka, obviously up in the top lane, does have teleport, but there's no wards really down there to teleport to. Of course, they're all being cleared out by these amazing amounts of pink wards coming out from Chiefs. And a catch here on T-Gun.
T-Gun going very low, forced to use the Unbreakable will quite late. No, it's not going to be enough. He takes a lot of damage there. Grand Skyfall coming behind the turret. Uberbro gets the heck out of dodge. A Valkyrie to take him to safety, and now Chief's going to push on this tower. Teleport coming in from Haruka. This is interesting, like the rest of Haruka's teleports, but he just sort of sits behind the tower a little bit and doesn't stress too much about getting involved in a fight. Dark Binding does hit on towards him. The Culling coming out as well. Claire trying to come in from the side, and Chiefs are fairly low. Radier, Swiffer, and Swiper all down to about half health. They'll still back away and go for the Dragon here. T-Gun is not up, and he won't be around for a bit. He does, of course, have the Mobies, but I don't know if that'll get him towards the Dragon in time. Haruka is also going to try and make something happen. Zahe caught. He's fragile. Zahe is fragile, but he still wants to go for it. Swiffer going to get popped as well. Chrono Shift being used there as well. Haruka goes straight into the middle. Radier not being focused at all quite yet, and Swiper going to be able to walk out of the back quite easily. So much damage being spread by Chiefs, and there's no focus from Immunity there towards the damage dealer. Zahe now going to get chased by Spooks. He's going to be spear thrown towards him as well. Rosie, does he want the ward? Yes. He's not interested in fighting right now. Chiefs, comfortable as you like. The Dragon under their belt just then as well. And they are just going to take it piece by piece.
Yeah, not sure entirely what the thought process there was from Immunity to kind of engage in a 4v5, even though they are behind as well. So things for Immunity, maybe the communication a little bit lacking, and things not going too well for them.
Okay. Bit of housekeeping here from T-Gun. Clear that ward away.
Yeah, there's a lot of wards in here that they can clear up.
Well, it's a consolidation period here for Immunity. They need to know that they still have capacity to fight. But this is what I'm saying about having, two big bruisery champions and having all your damage resting on two of them.
Yeah.
Claire is, he's doing okay. He's not fed. Uberbro probably he's not ahead of Radier. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
That's definitely his first problem. And with a top laner in Swiper that spreads so much damage, Immunity have literally another whole champion's worth
and
of
when
damage.
you look at the side of Chiefs, everyone on their team, I guess with the exception maybe of Rosie, has kill potential on anyone from Immunity. Whereas if you look on Immunity, really, you don't think any of those guys are going to be able to take any of the Chiefs guys out.
And that's not to say there's anything wrong with Immunity's team comp. In an idealized situation, it's good. Right now, it's bad.
Not, yeah.
They don't have the items to really justify it. And Chiefs can literally continue to come forward. They can essentially ignore T-Gun. They can ignore Haruka to an extent. Immunity have to focus the damage dealers and need to burst them down, because a protracted engagement will go heavily in favour of Chiefs. And now Zahe just going to get pinged under his tower. That's a lot of damage just for Spooks. That's what you're saying about the kill potential of him. The Culling coming straight in as well. Teleport straight by Swiper as well. He wants to get the damage down. T-Gun at the front here. Raider getting Black Shield. Haruka going to get a bit of damage as well from Swiper. And we can see T-Gun valiantly just trying to save his team. And he does. He manages to flash over the wall and keeps Chiefs away.
He's got
another bomb on his head. Will it be enough?
Dead.
Oh dear. No, but Grand Skyfall should do the job. We can see straight down comes Spooks. Haruka going to have to flash right away from that one as well. Uber Bro beating a hasty retreat. And oh dear, Swiffer puts another bomb.
Is he going to live?
On the head of T-Gun. No. He took, to be fair, he took like 3 bombs in the last 30 seconds.
He lasted longer than I expected, to be honest.
Something frustrating about the inexorability of having a Zillion bomb on your head. You can't do much about it. Oh, speaking of that though, Swiper gets the speed up. That's why the Zillion Rise is so OP. Claire got to get jumped on here as well. He wants to go towards Swiffer. Can he kill him? Not quickly enough. Swiper to pick him one up. 7-1 and 2. 17 and 5 in terms of kills as well.
Yeah, Swiper reminding me a little bit of Porky on that Rise. Just getting so fed in the early game and kind of transferring that into the late game. Very exciting to see.
How do you ban Chiefs out? How do you ban against them?
I really do not know. I don't think you can. Okay. Honestly, they have such a wide champion pool that they can pull anything out of their hat. And I'm sure even they've got some picks that we haven't even seen yet, because they might be hiding them for a rainy day if they do so need it.
Randuin's Omen coming up for Spooks here, adding a little bit of tankiness to his arsenal. Already got plenty of damage to come through, as Pantheon generally does. What an impactful pick that has been. No, you know, not even the pick, just Spooks in general. I think he's been an absolute key player so far for Chiefs. And this is how you get your team from lane phase into a dominant mid-game. Very, very, very active all over the map. And Zahe not up to his old tricks. I've seen him play against some of the best junglers in Australia and still rip them a new one against guys like Carbon, on occasion against guys like Spooks as well, but he's not on form right now, and you can see how it's impacted the rest of his team. Ibabro trying to force Chiefs away, and then looking squarely at this Baron.
Yeah, and T-Gun opting to rush those distortion boots. He's done that quite a lot, and I really don't know if this is the situation where you want to be using those distortion boots to get the extra flash cooldown. Meanwhile, Haruka
He's trying to get jumped on here as well. Culling coming out from Radio. All of Immunity are boxed up together. Radio coming forward. He's going to pick up Haruka now. That's a big tank down for Immunity. A lot of damage to respond on towards Swiffer. Chrono Shift is available. That's a low cooldown spell. Rosie now trying to do a bit of zoning from the side. Every shock blast counts from here for Claire. He's got to try and even the ledge drop. Grand Skyfall towards the mid lane. Uberbro going to get out again, but Spooks is going to be able to jump on a T-Gun. Immediately he's going to get exhausted up. Black Shield on him as well. Rosie coming forward. Doesn't have a Dark Binding in his arsenal just yet. He's trying to peel for Rady here. Rady going to get jumped on potentially. Zahe goes towards him. No, Claire will pick it up, but Rosie in response to take him down. Zahe will probably be able to have that one easily. Chains of Corruption comes out. No Spooks in on this one as well. Cheekily jumps straight on top of it, and a no
Swiffer.
Opportunity for Immunity to capitalise on the fact they picked up an 80 carry, but it doesn't matter. Swiffer wants to come forward.
No.
Oh, Uberbro. Well, back to the pavilion,
I'm
mate.
sorry.
Yeah, that's a shame. You can't do much about that, really. Double kill coming out for Swiffer. That was one bob each on 2 Immunity players now. A 4-for-1 fight. They're going to push on to this inhibitor turret.
Man, look at this kill difference, 22-6, and really, that's been the story of the game. Chiefs just so far ahead. And this inhibitor, they're actually opting to back away. I reckon they probably could have got that inhibitor. Haruka was the only one defending it.
There's a big
Claire
wave
only
top.
just coming up.
Big wave top. I don't know if that'll actually push.
It's not a terrible decision to back out either way.
I don't know if it'll push against Chiefs at this stage, but they're quite happy to consolidate now. Seeing the item builds come up. It's a bloodthirsty here for Radier, actually. Opting for that one. Going to give himself a little bit more defensive stats, I guess.
I don't think he really needs the Last Whisper at the moment. There's not a whole lot of armor coming out. Evelyn, there's Zahe just almost getting his Randuins, and of course Claire, the only other one there that has a chain vest. And other than that, there's no armor on the side of Immunity, so no real reason for that Last Whisper.
Chiefs, absolutely dominant right now. Looking to close this game up, surely.
Is Baron on the cards?
Well, it have to be, really. I think Immunity now. Be aware.
We could see another Magic Steal, like what Tosis did, but I don't think even that would get Immunity back.
it didn't get NV out of trouble
No.
either, really. I mean, it did delay what was perhaps inevitable by that stage of the game. But I don't think Chiefs are going to let that one go over too easily. That being said, Chiefs have thrown a Baron, like a lot of teams have. And
Yeah, everyone has at one point in their career, I'm sure.
but crucially, have the Chiefs. So I don't really think they want to leave too much up to chance here. The amount of gold they're ahead, plus having that extra threat as well in Swiper. When I say threat, I mean he's really freaking scary. I think, you know, there's a bit of wriggle room here for Chiefs to maybe make a mistake. Not that they want to do that. Rosie going to cop a shock blast here. The flash over the wall. Swiper is swiping. Uberbro going to go down with 6. Rosie at the 4. He's going to be using his Onya's Hourglass just to avoid some of the damage. Claire's going to get popped down fairly quickly. Spooks in the mix as well. Swiper still coming forward. Haruka just going to get chopped down. And Swiffer now wants to chase on towards Zahe. At least a couple bombs to send him packing at this stage. Won't be enough to take him out, but what a big fight. That was a 3 for none. Chiefs don't even care about Baron at this stage. They've got such a massive advantage. No damage, really. Not a lot of wave clear on immunity either. It's going to be an easy inhibitor.
Well, in that situation, really, Chiefs were using the Baron as a bait. Obviously, I had to contest it, but in the end, it didn't go well for them, and that's what Chiefs wanted. They got the inhibitor off that, and now they are actually heading towards the Baron, which not a terrible idea for them.
That's probably a pretty decent idea at this stage. Yeah.
I think they can blow through it pretty quickly.
You reckon? I reckon they could probably deal with that. But yes, Chiefs will.
You're trying to be funny.
No, it's not as tempting. Sometimes it comes through naturally. Sometimes I don't intend it to. But nonetheless, Baron will be chopped through, as you said, straight into the meat grinder, as it were. And the Chiefs have a chance to back away with all the lovely gold that they made and make one final push. Decidedly, one final push here to probably clean this one up. Every game we've seen today has been like this. Was that a chrono shift I just saw?
Yeah, it was. I was going to point it out, but didn't think it was entirely relevant. But I don't know, maybe a little bit of BM. There is no wards there, though, for immunity. So, yeah, I don't know what the strength of that chrono shift was. I mean, obviously, you can have a pretty short cooldown on it with rewind.
We can probably... Let's not pretend there was an actual reason for it.
Yeah.
There was no reason for it. Nonetheless, Dragon...
That was just Swiffer being Swiffer. Doing Swiffer things.
Dragon for immunity here. And...
well, they're not going to be too happy with that, I don't think, really, that trade. Baron for Dragon.
I don't think they have a choice to... trade almost implies that you make a decision.
Yeah.
Or like you have the freedom to choose one or the other. They don't. They're going to get whatever they can get at this stage. And my God, Swiper is scary. And those items coming out as well. Ceres Embrace. Of course, the Spear of Visage, Rod of Ages. And he's looking towards... maybe a Frozen Heart there as well. That is just big. And, it doesn't have to get super late game rise because of just how much gold he accrued early on in the stage. Grand Skyfall coming down. Oh, we know Spooks likes to make an entrance, and does he ever? T-Gun trying to keep the rest of Chiefs back. Spooks going to cop a little bit of damage, but, he really shouldn't have survived going in so deep. Their turret is dropped now. Radier coming towards T-Gun. T-Gun, very, very low Radiers. Looking very, very good in terms of money. Look at the damage coming through from all of Chiefs here. Immunity just going to have to deal with the Haruka trying to jump onto a Swiper. That's not the target you want. Radier free to do damage from the background, and they will just push straight onto this Nexus. Swiper going to try and take down Haruka or spread a lot of damage. There is absolutely nothing that Immunity can do to stop this push. Spooks has done his job. He jumped right into the middle of him and lived to tell the tale, and now it's all about wow, that cutting. Oh no, it was Swiper's damage over the top. That makes a bit more sense. Chrono shift on towards Spooks. Spooks jump in. Going to make the mad dive. Claire, will he get away? Nope. Double kill there for Swiper, and now it's all about just rubbing in, I think. Swiper continuing to throw damage down. It will be the Nexus. It will be the game. Chiefs, game 1. Fantastic. Stunning style as well. Really dominant from start to finish there. And that is a great way for him to start the campaign here at CGPL.
Definitely showing up here. And the time bomb was ticking on the heads of Immunity for a long time in that game. 32 minutes for Immunity to close out, for Chiefs, rather, to close that one out. And looks like Immunity going to be trying to claw their way back into this series.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to see how they go about doing that, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitch Uber Leslie. I'm joined here by Jordan, Elfish Guy Mays. We'll be back just after the break with Game 2, Chiefs versus Immunity. Don't go anywhere.
When it comes to Wi-Fi, milliseconds mean everything. There can be no hesitation, no delays, no interruptions. And to win, you have to be faster, stronger, and smarter than the competition. Introducing the Nighthawk AC1900 Smart Wi-Fi Router from Netgear, the most advanced evolution in routers that maximizes your experience with a new revolution of online gaming and streaming. It's the fastest available. No more lag while gaming and streaming. It's stronger. Advanced beamforming plus technology locks onto and tracks Wi-Fi devices, delivering a direct signal beam that increases network speed, range, and performance by up to 100%. 3 external antennas coupled to high-power amplifiers maximize range for total home coverage. It's smarter. The dual-core 1 GHz processor powers automatic Wi-Fi bandwidth priority for game consoles like Xbox One and 360, with a best online gameplay with no lag. Nighthawk gives automatic high priority to streaming video services like Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, and Hulu Plus, ensuring uninterrupted entertainment whenever you want it. Automatic backups for Mac and PC. Ensure your files are safely stored in your USB hard drive attached to the router. Faster, stronger, smarter. Get the most advanced AC Wi-Fi router for the ultimate in interruption-free gaming, streaming, and mobility. The Nighthawk from Netgear. Accelerate your Wi-Fi. Accelerate the way you play.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Logitech CGPL Season 2 Championships. We are well and truly into our second series of the day, and it is safe to say that the Chiefs are here to play. Sorry.
I'm so confused right now.
It's 3 words in a row rhymed. It was awesome.
Wow, you're really smart.
I'm a
All right, so the Xerath ban coming away from Immunity.
Yes.
Pretty standard from them. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a Zillion ban this game.
But what else do you leave open, you know? Do they kind of have to ban the Rise? How do they deal with the Rise? You know, especially when it's not even the 1v1 that they're trying to deal with, but it's more Spooks' influence in the top lane has actually changed things up. And that's really what got Swiper rolling in the first place. So, do you ban that champion or do you ban Spooks? You know, there's
Zillion
too many avenues
is the
to
ban
follow.
away. So, I mean, I don't think you can ban something like Pantheon because it leaves like Lee Sin, Jarvan. You know, there's nothing you can really ban away from Spooks.
Yeah. It's easier back in the day where you had your triad of junglers, your Kha'Zix, your Rengar, well, 4, I guess, if you think about it, but your Kha'Zix, Rengar, Lee Sin, and at least to a lesser extent. You know, but now it's opening up a bit. I've seen Spooks play Fiddlesticks. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised to see him played.
Yeah, well.
And he played it to great effect. So Zillion now being banned away from the Chiefs, and Swiffer seemed very, very comfortable on that, but I don't know.
Target bans against T-Gun, though.
Yeah, I think they want to tilt him. I honestly
maybe.
think Chiefs want to tilt T-Gun. I know he's a passionate player. Yeah. He's based on impetus in a great way. And if he is not feeling good, he is not going to be able to make plays for Immunity. And the same to be said for Haruka as well. If they just continue to dive and dive and dive on him, he will just continue to, I don't want to say underachieve, but that last game definitely wasn't a good indication of the skill we know that J.K. Smithy has. He was just kept so quiet for the entirety.
And Morgana is open for T-Gun. Has played that a few times recently. We will see what this final ban is. Would be quite humorous if that was a Morgana. But as we spoke about, that Rise banned away from Spooks as well. So no Rise in this game. And the Zillion and Xerath definitely not surprise bans for Team Immunity. They have a history of banning those 2 champions. Fizz the ban away from Claire. We have seen that a few times.
Makes me think that, there we go. It makes me think that Chiefs wanted to play Zed, because Fizz is commonly picked into Zed and will outscale him by the late game.
Yep.
And Immunity have almost predicted this and actually picked up the Zed for themselves. That's probably a decent response, I think, to that. Your T-Gun being banned out, Rise taken off the table as well. Claire is a good Zed. He's a very good Zed. Is he better than Swiffer? I'm not sure. But now, with Zed, Fizz both off the table, Zillion off the table, Xerath off the table as well. Swiffer maybe will have to dig a little bit deeper into his pool to find a response. But guess who's on their comfort pick? It's a Corki for Radiant.
Yeah, so, I mean, that leaves Lucian available for Uber Tristan as well. Haven't seen her since the nerfs recently. Has fallen down a little bit in power, but still available, I guess, if you want to go for a strong late game composition. Have to see what Immunity decide to hover over here. Obviously, a lot of picks available for Zahe, the Kha'Zix, and Elise, Evelyn, rather. Both kind of there. I probably wouldn't be going for Evelyn again if I was Zahe. Probably want to mix it up a little bit. I think his Kha'Zix might be a decent choice here.
If Zahe knows he's going to get counter-ganked, which he does, then Evelyn is a really bad choice here.
Yeah.
He wants something with a bit more, I don't know, contingency involved. Lee Sin, who can get out of a bad situation. Rengar can conditionally. Kha'Zix can leap if he has to.
Yeah, and that would take the Lee Sin as well away from Spooks.
Yes. We'll have to see now. It might be the Kha'Zix being picked up here for Zahe. Locked in. Claire, don't know really what the pick is for him. Teemo being picked for Claire. I think he might be on the strong disconnect here, so we'll have to wait and see what that one is. We know it's not. We know it's not Teemo. Let's not get too excited here. Nonetheless, we'll wait and see how the rest of the Chiefs roster fills itself out. Some quizzical looks coming from the side of the Chiefs here.
Yeah, everyone kind of looking over at each other, kind of trying to figure out what that Teemo is. Could be a placeholder.
No, it's just Claire. I think Claire just forgot to lock a champion. I think that sounds about right. You can see his head in his hands over there, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe
what's going to be the ruling on this?
Well, the teams will probably communicate with one another. I don't think it'll be a huge deal. Nonetheless, Jake's been picked up, so it's probably been communicated sort of maybe what that pick has been. Chiefs have got to think of what they're going to pick into Teemo, and I use my waggly fingers there.
Yeah.
So I have to wait and see. But it's Jace in the mid lane here for Swiffer. Haven't seen a huge amount of his Jace in our last few games. I don't think.
He tends to not really play those kind of more pokey champions. Tend to go on the RAZ, Syndra, that kind of more engage heavy and assassin style champion.
Yep.
But obviously Jace, one of the kind of big picks at the moment in the mid lane, and Corki as well. They're looking for a little bit of a siege kind of really good there in combination as well with the Morgana Dark Binding under towers. Things are not going to be fun for Immunity, having to dodge so many skills. And, there's a limited space under those towers, so Immunity might have a little bit of trouble here.
Rosie on the Morgana again. Definitely put it to good use. Morgana's still such a strong pick, and maybe she got overlooked. Maybe people overreacted to the way that she was balanced. It's quite possible. Rosie looking to bring it back with a vengeance here. Quite happy to go for that one. Jan and Thresh obviously being off the table. Really support focused this matchup, isn't it, between these two teams? T-Gun and Rosie, such impactful players. Karma to be locked in for T-Gun here. Interesting indeed, but against the Morgana. Yep, there it is.
That's that fiddle you spoke about.
Yeah, and the reason why I say is I'm not a psychic. I just saw it in a scrim. He used it against Legacy and demolished us with it, so I'm not all that surprised to see it. But now I have to find out what that pick was there. It could have been a disconnect as well. We'll jump back into the lobby and see it quite soon. But yes, interestingly enough here, it's going to be the Fiddlesticks here. Let's talk about that level 1. Let's talk about early times for Fiddlesticks, because he's got a lot at his disposal utility-wise. What is his skill? What is he trying to do? Does he want to make a level 1 fight?
He could potentially make a level 1 fight. Obviously, Drain quite a powerful skill. You can pretty much 1v1 anyone. And, of course, as well as that, the Crow, the silence coming out from that. If you hit it on everyone on the opposition team in a level 1 fight, that's pretty much GG. Yep. That silence lasts for a little while, and that would be enough time for Chiefs to get an advantage and kind of run away with it in the level 1. Get a few kills, maybe, something like that. And even when you're silenced, you can't really fight back. So things are not going to be good if Chiefs do decide to go for a level 1 invade. Okay,
so it looks like it's going to be the Lucian AD carry for Uberbro, going into Radier's Corki. And we see the Irelia going topside as well for Haruka, playing in to the Maokai.
Yes. He didn't actually have a particularly fantastic game last time he played Irelia against Chiefs. That was, however, up against a Rise that did get blue buff at level 1. So you can't really fault him for that.
That's right. They 3 buffs started immunity, didn't they?
They did. Chiefs got the 3 buffs, and one of them went over to Swiper, rather, on the Rise, and really brought hell down upon Haruka. And then eventually he ended up lane swapping into a 2v1 situation and getting himself killed as well twice after that. So he tilted pretty hard in that game, and things did not go well for Immunity there.
I will make a tentative prediction.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs will go for something aggressive early. I think they will try and 3 buff start. I think they will try and at least get some sort of pick. Maybe we might even see Spooks skilled in towards his fear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they will do this. They've got a lot at their disposal. We don't like zeroing too much on the level 1. But, taking a buff away from Kha'Zix, devastating.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastating.
And Kha'Zix gets quite a huge power spike at level 6 as well. So if you can deny him any experience at all, it's really important. And of course, we do know Fiddlesticks, massive level 6 power spike in both ganking potential and damage output.
So scary.
Both these junglers very level 6 dependent, I guess you could say. Obviously, both can gank before that, but level 6 is really when they hit their prime time for ganks and sort of team fights. And that's going to be kind of the time where they're looking for dragons as well, which is really going to favor Chiefs because that AoE damage from Spooks and, of course, Swiper as well is going to put a lot of damage around onto Immunity.
I think Spooks is going to live up to his name in this game with that Fiddlesticks pick.
Spooky.
Yeah, it is rather spooky.
Wow.
Just his ability to be there and come out of nowhere more than anything and turn things around. And we saw his counter gank ability sort of last game. We saw what happens when Spooks gets the jump on an enemy jungler. It's not pretty at all.
It can be risky to counter gank as Fiddle because if you do get blown up before the drain kind of kicks in, you're going to be left in a pretty bad situation, of course. Especially against the Kha'Zix, who's going to get all these extra resets, especially at level 6, maybe if he levels his leap or something like that. Anyway, we don't know. We'll have to see how this game kind of pans out. I probably favour Chiefs here again. I think they've got the momentum. Immunity not probably too happy with themselves after that last game, and Chiefs kind of going for a little bit of a crazier strategy. Obviously, the Fiddle, not the kind of champion that sees a lot of play, so might put Immunity on the back foot.
I don't know. I've got a good feeling about Spooks' Fiddlesticks.
Me too.
Because I had a bad feeling about it when my team got crushed by it. So I expect him to put it to good use here. The question is, can you shut down a Fiddlesticks early on in the jungle?
Yes, absolutely. You have to take away a few buffs, but it's going to be difficult for Immunity to do that. They don't have the strongest level 1, not the strongest early game. Kha'Zix, I don't think really is going to have the best matchup against Fiddle if he finds him in a 1v1 because of the fear. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be difficult for Zahe to get the advantage over Spooks here.
Now, Swiper playing a role and a champion that probably is not one that's going to benefit hugely from Spooks dropping by that lane frequently. We know he's probably just going to want to hang in there and just be unkillable in general. We know that Maokai doesn't obviously hit a great amount of kill potential at level 6, so I think Spooks will be heading elsewhere here.
Maybe mid lane.
Maybe.
Likes that mid lane. Swiffer and Spooks besties.
A little bit hard to gank Zed.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Especially as Fiddle. It's kind of situational getting your ulti off. If he's got a shadow down or something like that, might be a bit difficult. I think bot lane probably going to be the option of choice for Spooks. If he can get behind Uber Bro, maybe a sneaky jump out of a bush somewhere could spell devastation. Of course, the fear changes a while back means he runs... Whoever gets feared runs directly away from Fiddle rather than walking around. So it can work in your favor if you do manage to get behind someone, fear someone back into your team.
Absolutely. Makes it a little bit more predictable here. Going to be onto the reef very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2. Quick shout out to our sponsors, of course, Logitech, AMD, MSI, Netgear, M-Wave, and BenQ for powering our CGPL leagues. Fantastic league. And some fantastic results we also saw posted. Neither of these two teams really sat you sort of at the top of the table. We had 6-1. That was Avant-Garde.
Yeah.
And the next 3 teams went 5-2.
Yeah.
Very, very closely matched. And as we said earlier on, Immunity actually beat Chiefs in the regular season.
Well, it does have to be said. Chiefs actually dropped the game to Envy because they weren't able to play the game. And you would have to say probably Chiefs would have been the victors there against Envy. So maybe Chiefs would have gone 6-1 as well. But anyway, that's really all speculation at this stage and doesn't really play much of a part. So we're going to see Chiefs and Immunity now on the Rift. Immunity fighting pretty hard for their kind of spot in this competition. Obviously, they need to win this game if they want to really do anything more. Otherwise, they're going to be playing in that third-place game.
Okay, let's see what happens here in their level 1. And Chiefs are all congregating here towards the red side of the jungle. We'll have to see if they want to try and make something happen. I kind of predicted it. Kind of makes me think that way if I see the Fiddlesticks. For Spooks, wants to get off to a solid start, no doubt. Interestingly enough, it's a mirrored maneuver here by Immunity. They are down towards their own red buff and maybe heading towards the blue of Chiefs at this stage. So let's see. They're not going to run into each other at any point.
Yeah.
Will the entirety of Immunity go for this one, or will they back away? We've got a ward that's actually spotted out the entirety of Chiefs. So it's almost like Immunity have expected quite a deep invade, and they've read it quite well, because you're not going to put a ward there unless you absolutely expect Chiefs to walk right into your territory. So now, the advantage kind of in favour of Immunity here. A couple of pings going down over towards them. Chiefs unaware of where they are right now. They have no idea. And right now, the ball's in Immunity's court. They have a good idea what's happening. So, it's going to be an attempt here for Chiefs to try and 3-buff Immunity, but Immunity saw through it well. One ward can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. And Chiefs, they're sitting on top of that ward. Immunity know where they are. Immunity going to take this red buff away. Obviously, Swiper and Haruka kind of delaying their disappearance from these wards. Probably Haruka going to have to teleport up into that top lane. Otherwise, he's not going to get up there in time. You can see Radier kind of hanging around there as well. This could be a lane swap initiated by Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it. And that's what they normally do. We spoke about this last night. I think they sort of transition to a buff steal, and then on the top side of the map, they'll put their Radier carry and support duo there. So, Akama and Lucian going to be in a 2v1 situation by the looks of things, and it's the same to be said for Makorki and Morgana. Right now, though, you can see the lane swap's already been fairly well predicted here, because Swiper's actually just going to buddy up a little bit here with Spooks to begin with as he makes his way down the map.
Both top laners kind of buddying up with their jungler a little bit, looking for that extra experience, and they're actually mirroring each other's movements completely. Looks like red buff's going to be swapped. So, or not swapped, they're going to be getting their own red buffs rather, but they're swapping sides on the map technically. So, both these duo lanes not pushing the turret yet, and trying to deny as much experience from those top laners as possible.
Okay, let's see what happens following this little swap over, little do-si-do being done here by both teams.
Are they going to go for a 4-push?
Oh, it's interesting. We actually see the roam from Rosie towards mid lane, so as fairly standard, happy to leave Radier to farm on his own if he's got the solo lane now. We have 4 members of the Chiefs around that mid lane here. Claire,
is this an early dragon? They have fiddlesticks.
They do.
It's absolutely a possibility here.
And there's absolutely no vision there from Immunity at all. This could be quite an interesting play. Oh, the ward. No, they did cross over one, as you did point out. Now, Claire kind of getting shoved in here, so Swiffer doing exactly what he needs to do to prevent Immunity from responding to this correctly. The roam up by the bot lane duo for Immunity, though, will spot this one out, walking over a ward. But there's a lot of Chiefs players near that blue buff.
Yeah, a lot of wandering around going around at the moment. Not a whole lot of CS kind of gaining from either of these teams, apart from the 80 carries. Immunity, actually, the team to initiate this Dragon. They're sitting right on top of the water. This is not good at all.
Here we go. Darkwind comes out. T-Gun going low. He'll probably die to the Dragon. It's going to be one more hit. That would be really, really awkward. Swiffer trying to duke it out with Claire in the towards the mid lane here. Claire coming forward. So if we're going to jump on away, T-Gun very, very lucky to get away there. Actually forced to burn a flash out of the Dragon pit. We didn't see that. But that was risky.
Yeah,
that was
so
really...
risky.
And if you start Dragon first at level 2 and you get jumped on like that,
Yeah,
it's never going to end well for you. Darkwind coming out from Spooks was enough to force everyone away. So much damage going towards T-Gun. And then I guess the proverbial really hit the fan.
I don't know really what Immunity were thinking trying to start that Dragon, honestly. They knew Chiefs were around that area. They had the ward down there in the J bush near the mid lane. So they saw Chiefs run over there and they're just like, oh, let's go do Baron while the Chiefs are all running around their blue side jungle. Not a good move at all from them there. Lucky to escape without any deaths. Obviously, T-Gun had to burn through his flash, which is probably just, I guess, Immunity happy with that result.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would have been embarrassing to die to Dragon. I mean, there were, you know, mitigating circumstances, but still, that's not really what you want to have happen. Zahe and Haruka now. Actually, in this top lane, we're going to make it a 2v2 and just want to buy Haruka some freedom or a little bit of breathing space at least. Radier level 4, Haruka level 2. Big discrepancy there as well. Swiper actually going to join here. Might even see a swap back towards the bot lane here in response. And they've actually read the lane swap here by Immunity so well. Chiefs are going to go straight towards the bottom side now as well. I don't know if Ibro will
coming
stay.
into the mid lane here.
Will he make a play
There's
towards
no shadow
Claire?
available for Claire.
No, and look, he's going to get the fear now. Might have to flash away from this one. Bit of damage. No, should be safe, but a lot of damage going down towards Claire regardless. And it's hard to gank a Zed. Realistically, Claire holding on to his flash there. But now T-Gun wants to make something happen in the mid lane. We see the roam down as well from Zahe. What can happen here? We do see the mantra up Q coming from T-Gun. Focus resolve, trying to lock up Spooks, but Spooks just turns around and puts a bit of a drain on. T-Gun going quite low in that engagement as well. Immunity kind of didn't work out for them at all.
An engage here coming about from Haruka and Swiper. Swiper definitely getting the better of that one. Level 3, Haruka only level 2. Almost about to hit level 3, but that was not a good trade at all for Haruka. Going to get zoned out quite a lot here. And, as expected, the early Dragon being forced here by Spooks. A ward going over there from T-Gun. So this is known by Immunity. But what can they do about it?
All right, T-Gun getting caught up in a dark binding there as well. Trying to steal the Dragon or at least dish away. Wow, Spooks goes very low to the Dragon here. They've got to be very, very careful how they trade this aggro. Spooks going to have to back away. Rosie just trying to block any skill shot that might be coming that way, especially anything coming from Karma. And Inner Flame in the right direction would have been the end of Spooks there. And he's going to go back to sort of farming his jungle up. Oh, there it is.
Embarrassing.
There it is. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but...
Well, certainly a good laugh by the crowd here, though.
Let's assume that he's just hamming it up for everyone there.
Yeah.
It's a quicker way, quicker than recalling, to be fair. Except you got to respawn. I don't know. Either way, that's what he's done.
How long was the respawn timer? If it was less than 8 seconds, then it was quicker.
Well, there you go. So,
well,
just, in the interest of expediency, Spooks makes a very quick exit from the rift. Now, we are back to a 2v2 in the bottom lane. Who won out in that one?
Not sure. Radier having a bit of trouble there.
Thanks for that. No worries. Radier obviously did spot out Claire trying to make something happen in the bottom lane.
I actually completely missed what you said, to be honest.
Really?
That's why I had no idea what was happening.
I do talk quite fast, actually, so I can forgive you for doing that. The lane swap looks like it's been worked in favour for Uberbro so far, despite the fact Radier was left to farm on his own as well. Still, Uberbro's advantage now coming towards Radier. Going to chunk him right on down. Rosie a little bit slow to respond there, and Uberbro winning that trade quite comfortably. T-Gun not really able to take too much part in these fights. He does dodge the Dark Binding. What a pretty skin he's got there as he tries to come forward and maybe throw a little bit of his own poke into the mix. Now, it's a blue buff steal here. Swiper clearing out that pink ward, but plenty of information going over to Claire. Zahe and Claire just moving through right now. Do they want the blue or do they want to fight? Deathmark towards Spooks. Spooks is going to have to flash away from that. Haruka appears out of nowhere. All of a sudden, really, really low on health now. The smite comes away from Zahe. He'll be able to pick that one up now. Haruka going to get damaged by Swiper, though. Swiper no mana at this stage, but he's still a big body, and he's going to try and swing his trunk around. Claire going to be forced to back. Oh, there it is! Goal! First kill there. Nice first blood over towards Swiffer. And that's the danger of hanging around so low health, especially near a Jace.
Going aggressive.
He wants a piece of Radier, but Radier not really low enough to justify the dive. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, now, that was a bit ill thought out there. Uberbro putting the auto attack on towards Rosie. They're not trading that tower aggro well at all. And Uberbro just going to have to try and get away.
Level 3 to Uberbro's level 6.
Still holding on, though. It's safe to say. Swiffer just putting the kibosh down towards Claire. Expecting Claire to go in with the death mark here. It actually wasn't available. Still the exhaust burn, just to make sure Claire had no potential really to trade back there.
Uberbro being a bit risky recalling there. Rosie could have chuck a Dark Binding into that bush and he would have been in trouble, but was not to be. And Radio and Rosie going to continue to farm down in this bot lane, try to catch up a little bit. Ubero, as you say, did get that little bit of an advantage. And Rosie was a little bit behind on levels, but slowly is catching up again. T-Gun going to take quite a lot of creep aggro here, going to just try and stop Radia's recall, but this could be risky.
It is very risky. T-Gun managing to avoid the Dark Binding there. I don't know if he wanted to throw it in a flame towards Radia and stop him, but that might have been very dangerous there. Haruka getting slapped around a bit today.
Yeah, level 6 hit by Swiper there, and this is not a good time to engage for Haruka. He is only level 5.
No, it's going to be, and you know what? No point in using Vengeful Maelstrom there as well. Swiper using just his level advantage and stat advantage to actually get the better of Haruka. Only got the Sheen there, so he hits fairly hard, but it's already a Catalyst to Protector coming out here for Haruka.
That culling doing so much. The level advantage very evident from Uberbro against Rosie. 3 level advantage, and it's kind of, I don't know, where Rosie lost all of that experience from.
Uberbro looking a lot more comfortable this game. Got a good start off the lane side, but actually worked in his favour.
Yeah.
So credit to Immunity there for making the correct manoeuvres around the map to really deal with that now. 2 levels, yeah, level 6 finally coming up here for Radia, if I'm not mistaken, but a comfortable little CS lead for Uberbro. But he's got to propagate that. He's got to continue to push that throughout the game. He can't get behind. Otherwise, we're going to have another what happened last game. Swiper getting jumped on here. Vengeful Maelstrom straight away being used. Zahi gets on there. Does have the double buff there. Able to slow Swiper up. But Swiper has a slow of his own. Haruka right at the back. Yeah, there's no way they were going to go for that one. Haruka quite low through all of that now. We can see Spooks make his way towards top low on mana, but probably still has enough to throw a Crow Storm down if he wanted to be that cheeky. And Swiper going to be happy to have Zahi leave the lane, leave him alone a little bit now. We get back to a bit more of a standard period. We can see Immunity really trying to pressure down towards that tower. They've done good work, actually. It's quite low.
Yeah.
Not sure if that was from the lane swap or not.
They're pretty keen to get that down. They keep trying to push that wave in, but too much wave clear from Radia and Rosie. Kind of just stopping them in their tracks at the moment. But, you know, if you get one auto attack on the tower every wave, you're still getting it down slowly but surely. And, of course, that is going to be the objective that Immunity really wants to kind of put themselves a little bit ahead in this game. The gold is pretty even at the moment, and that definitely would give them an advantage.
Okay, now, pressure on towards this bottom tower again. Spooks is actually waiting on the wings here as he moves his way down towards that bottom outer turret. He wants to try and hold on to that one. Radia would like to lane a little bit longer, I don't doubt. You see Swiffer again, shock blast after shock blast in Claire's direction, chunking him down bit by bit. You can see looking very, very comfortable.
Radia looking to recall here, but stopped there by Uberbro. Swiffer going to do some ward clearance in that mid lane. Potentially an option now for Spooks to gank, but as we spoke about, quite difficult to gank a Zed. Maybe if you got the Fear off quick enough and then a Silence to follow that up, you could kind of lock him down from moving around, but would be pretty mechanically intensive. Obviously, these guys are some of the best players in Australia, so it is possible.
They want to wait for Claire to overextend, and then they'll be able to pick him up a lot easier. Use all his shadows and give him no way of really escaping. But Claire probably a little bit cleverer than that. Spooks looking elsewhere at the moment. To be fair, hasn't really been able to make the impact he would have liked. Got that one death to the wolf creep, and apart from that, hasn't been able to make the impact here in the lanes. And they've spotted him out quite well. Pings down towards mid. That was Claire. Just signaling that Swift had gone missing.
Yeah. See, this is good movement here as well by Spooks coming down to this bot lane. They know the tower is about to go down, and it might cause Uberbro and T-Gun to kind of overextend a slight little bit, and that'll allow Spooks to jump in there with the ultimate from that tri-bush, which is pinked. So Immunity needs to be careful about their movements here. Actually, it looks like Spooks going to walk over a ward here.
Claire dominating Swiffer in that last trade, taking him quite low. And Focus Resolve not able to actually root Radia in place in that little engagement. Managed to Valkyrie away, but Immunity actually, winning this bot lane at the moment. It's safe to say, real turnaround from last game. And mid lane for Claire right now, at this instant at least, looking quite comfortable. We've actually seen Swiper rotate towards mid and give Haruka some time to farm up and actually push towards that tower. Chiefs look a little bit less comfortable this game. There's the first turret of the game, and that was bound to happen eventually. But look at this. Haruka also wants to work on this top one. Chiefs looking a lot less settled than they did earlier on.
Is he going to get it in time before Swiper gets up in the top lane? He might even try to keep going under the tower. This could be risky. Swiper will have enough damage to kill Haruka if he hangs around.
Oh, no, tower down, and Swiper now will want to have to fight him, surely. Haruka going to try and get away. Dragon going to be started up here by Immunity. Culling coming out, and this is he's kept Swiper busy enough here. Swiper does have teleport available, but a quick Dragon take for Immunity. Very, very well done. They're actually in the lead here. It's 2.4k gold. The teleport coming in a little bit late from Swiper there. Oh. There's no Dragon to be taken. They've got to force a fight here. Chiefs now need to use the fact that a few members of Immunity are quite low and probably will just opt for the mid tower here.
Yeah, this is something that Immunity seem to do quite a lot. Whenever JKS, or rather Haruka, gets in trouble in the top lane, they immediately head towards the Dragon. And even if JKS does go down or loses out, they do pick up that objective.
There comes the Crow Storm, probably just to zone people away. Oh, the Death Mark in response here. And we did see absolutely obliterated with Spooks. Chiefs forced to back away. Didn't even manage to take the tower as well.
Yeah, that's the danger of early game fiddle before you get your Zhonyas. That you just have no ability to survive anything if you're not draining.
I mean, we did see Haruka die there as well. Radiant went very, very low. Ultimately, Chiefs will still be able to take this one. Probably a good amount of damage spread there, at least by Spooks as he jumped on towards that tower. Radiant had to go back. Still a tower. Now back towards Chiefs. Immunity need another tower here. They want to pick it up in the bot lane, but I don't think it's enough really on Uberbro to make that one stick. Dragon went over towards Immunity, so objective-wise, they're playing a lot more confidently this game, and a little bit of gold in their pocket.
Yeah, small advantage here for Immunity at the moment. Despite that kill disadvantage, they do have 2 towers up, and of course the Dragon as well. This blue buff going to be going over to Swiffer as we speak. So Swiffer sitting pretty happily on 2 kills. He's picked up Brutalizer and the pickaxe. Going to have a lot of damage in the early game. So really, I think Chief's going to be looking to Swiffer to really carry this one. He's got that those 2 kind of items that he needs, and now going to be bringing out a lot of poke damage, especially considering he has blue, lowered cooldowns, and the mana regen. Going to help him out a lot.
Okay, let's take stock of things now after the last few frenetic passages of play. Not a huge goal lead. It's really been brought up there by, you know, the tenacity of Chiefs trying to pick up that mid tower. And everyone just taking the time to farm it up. Haruka well on the way to that Triforce. Rod of Ages already ticking along here for Swiper quite nicely. Items are elsewhere on the map. It's an Affinity Edge for Uberbro here. Not quite yet a Triforce of Radiant. Hasn't quite hit that spike yet. Going to be an advantage to Uberbro in the next few minutes at the very least. Now we can see, again, another grouping of Immunity towards mid. Where do they want to go with this? Do they want that tower? Do they want to try and get a pick in the jungle? Where do they go from here?
I don't think Immunity really want to have a 5v5 siege at all, because they're not going to have a way to hit that tower without taking a ton of damage off Swiffer, Radio, or even Rosie getting a Dark Binding like that.
Tegon going to go very, very low, but Rosie gets turned on by the culling. Uberbro picks him up now. Swiffer wants to go towards Uberbro. Exhaust is going to come down as well. Zahe coming in to try and help, and is going to be able to force the rest of Chiefs off. It's a quick pick. Rosie, despite being the one who actually made the pick on towards Tegon, gets it turned around on him as well. Void Spikes cutting into Swiffer as well, going to send him back. A moment now for Immunity to have a look at their next. Wow, it's a lot of damage from Shock Blast. And Zahe, just when he thought he could come forward a little bit now, he's going to have to back right away.
Claire hanging around in the Chiefs jungle a little bit, going to split push that bot lane, like what we saw Kenzie doing up against NV on Zed. So the kind of trend appearing of Zed split pushing down in that bot lane. So he's doing a pretty decent job, getting a fair bit of CS under his belt. 146 in 16 minutes is pretty decent, and looks like he's just going to be headed off a little bit by Rosie, trying to get as much damage onto this tower as possible, and this is the important thing for Immunity. If they can get these towers down, that's really what they need.
All right, Mantrid in a flame coming out there from Tegon in the mid just to try and force him off that tower. Claire clearing some wards here. He isn't with his team, but nor are Spooks and Rosie with theirs at this stage. Immunity. The double pink ward in that bush, just to be sure. They have vision there. It takes a long time to clear all those out, I'm quite sure. Tegon wants to come forward here and try and mess with Swiffer a bit. I mean, there's still the green ward in that bush, so Swiffer actually going to make some bank here if he clears those wards. Zahe got to eat a shock blast here. Swiffer really wanted that ward. He's going to have to flash away. Wasn't worth it. Acceleration gate being used. Transcendent Blades as well. Swiffer slowed up very heavily. He's going to use Thundering Blow. Zahe is there. He's going to get jumped onto the skies and use Spooks is in the mix, but he gets chunked down again. Tegon will just fall. Now Rosie trying to clear up Uberbro. Haruka is being jumped on by Swiper at the moment. Now Radiant joins the fray a little bit too late. Uberbro and Claire, the last 2 left. A 3-for-1 fight for Chiefs. Very, very strong showing from them. And it was all simply because Swiffer really wanted those pink wards, man.
Yeah, and Uberbro kind of got zoned out a little bit in that fight. Wasn't able to get the damage that he wanted. He wasn't really ready to cross over the tormented soil of Rosie and got zoned out by that. So, yeah, it was kind of a 3v4 in that situation, even though it was really a 4v4 with Uberbro there. So, no damage coming out from your ADK, who is actually doing pretty well for himself, is not a good thing for Immunity.
Yeah, it was more Uberbro struggled to be in position. Rosie made a beeline for him through the Dark Binding in this direction to just force him to stay back. And we saw Haruka essentially was just cut off from the rest of his team, jumped on by Swiper, and they were more than happy to take Aurelia as a prize for that fight. Swiffer, very, very dangerous the way he extended for that one. He is a focused target right now for Immunity, and he put himself out there. So be very, very careful now. Tegon eats another shock blast. Dragon is up in 50 seconds, so still a little bit of time here for both teams to try and scrounge out an advantage. Gold lead still in the balance is still about 2k in favour of Immunity. That is really nothing to write home about at this stage of the game.
I think this really is the power play time for Chiefs. They have a pretty decent team where they can poke with. And Immunity, I feel like, don't have a really solid engage on their side. Of course, they have T-Gun on Karma. They're going to try and give them a bit of movement speed boost. I guess try and get Haruka in there for a slow or with the Equilibrium Strike or something like that. But I feel like Chiefs, if they can kind of disengage that, they will have the advantage of the poke. And that's really going to be difficult for Immunity to deal with. Especially considering Swiffer is 4-0 on Jace.
Yeah. He's going to be hitting really hard, and it's going to make fights that might seem like Immunity has the advantage turn around very, very quickly if Swiffer can put a couple shock blasts into his opponents. The more people he hits with the shock blast, the more damage he's essentially doing. So, if Immunity got to be very, very careful about their positioning here. T-Gun's good at dodging skill shots, but that is not a dodge. That's a caster's curse there if I've ever seen it. It gets chunked very, very low, and that's all it really takes at this stage to teleport in from swipers. So Chiefs really marching straight towards this one. I think that was an attempted teleport from Haruka to the ward, and it was cleared.
No, it wasn't. I believe Immunity probably should just give this one up. Yep. Actually, Spooks is not there, so they can contest with the jungler, and Spooks Haruka can teleport down right now, and it'll be a 4v5.
Spooks will interrupt it, surely, if he tries to do that here. So Chiefs with 4 on the Dragon. Spooks might want to make a walk down. He's got the Moby treads here, so it won't take him too long to get there. Shock Blast really doing work. Zahe super low. They want to fight this one. Surely big one is just going to be dodged there, but the leap is forced to be used by Zahe, and there's no way he's going to be able to get in there and steal the Dragon, let alone actually hang around to fight for a T-Gun. Wants something that is very dangerous. Picked up there by Rosie. You cannot hang around a team with that much poke with such low health.
No.
Easy tower. Yes, it was easy dragon, should I say. Yes, tower was picked up by Haruka there. That was important, and that is keeping definitely Immunity's heads up at this stage. They're still in lead in terms of gold, and they're going to be able to have more control of that side of the map, but they have got to take it. They've got to walk into the jungle, ward it up, and make plays from there.
Yeah, but what exactly can you do in this situation as Immunity when you're getting hit in the face for half your damage of one ability that's only on like a 10-second cooldown? And
not even that's not even the problem. The problem is that Immunity don't even have that much engage as well.
Exactly.
So they kind of have to just sit there and cop shock blast until they can fight. Like that. We saw Claire go straight towards Radiant. Radiant won't be able to last through that. Can Claire get out though? No. Unlikely. Goes straight under the tower, and Swiffer will pick that one up. Not really worthwhile. I mean, you have drawn the attention of 2 players, but your team aren't trying to push an objective in the meantime.
Yeah, so that would have been worthwhile if Immunity was pushing down that mid turret, but unfortunately they were too busy taking a row buff.
Well, Swiffer now 5-0-1. Does have the last whisper in his inventory. Muramana surely can't be that far away.
So much armor penetration on his side.
And it's going to be coming there in, well, I mean, there's not a great deal of armor on the side of Immunity at the moment anyway, but it may still be a factor.
Amplifies your damage.
Tower taken here, though, surely by Immunity. So it's still 4-1. So they're working on these turrets very, very well. And instead of sort of stressing and freezing the lane and just trying to farm up, Haruka is pushing this one out. He is really trying to pick up towers for his team and spread some of the global gold goodness over them. And at this stage, that is what is keeping them in the lead. It's in the towers that the Chiefs, so the Dragons, the last couple that Chiefs have really picked up and made work for them. But it hasn't put them in the lead. They've got to have a decisive fight.
Right, a lot of ward clearing going down around the Baron. I don't really think either of these teams are prepped for that. Just going to be seeing Chiefs try to push down this mid lane here, and this is kind of what they need to do. They need to group up and do a little bit of pokey kind of siege sort of things, and that can really put the pressure on Immunity because Immunity has no way really to answer it, and if they do get caught out by a Dark Binding or something under tower, they're just going to get absolutely demolished.
Zahe wants to go towards Spooks. Spooks was trying to set something out there, but he was watered out. He gets picked off very, very easily. No Zonyas yet to speak of for Spooks. And that was an excellent play. Immunity now have learned from their mistakes, I think, and knew exactly where to look for Fiddlesticks. And now they want to come forward. Claire double buff. Haruka jumps on towards Swiper. Now they're going to get onto him. A lot of damage surely his way. Radiant in the back line. Can he do enough to force the guys from Immunity away? Zahe comes forward as well. Haruka goes fairly low. Uberbro takes a heck of a lot of damage on the flip side as well. And they had the advantage. They looked like they were going to be able to go forward, but Swiffer and Radiant are still very, very healthy. Immunity look like they want to quit while they're ahead and maybe go for a blue buff.
Yeah, that's the power of this kind of pokey, disengaged comp. You can lose a player, but you can still even manage to force away a 4v5 coming out. And people aren't really too keen to chase someone that is doing so much damage to them.
Okay, well, could have been a mistake if they'd pushed onto that one. Haruka going fairly low there. Shock blasts are coming thick and fast there. You can see Yomi's being used here just to try and work on this tower. And we can see that is a nasty ultimate coming in there. Spooks finally gets that Crow Storm to really do some work there. Picked up that kill, and the tower was defended as well. And Claire out of the game for 30 seconds here. Haruka just trying to hold on to his top tower. It is fairly healthy, but he needs some wave clear. He needs to clear the wave without taking too much damage from Swiffer. And that's a good equilibrium strike. Going to knock him down quite low. Triforce doesn't work. Swiffer will get away. The 1v1, despite being under the tower, still going in his favour. Uberbro forced to use the culling to try and thin out the creep wave pushing onto their tower.
Right, Super's going to take this tower down. No problem. Oh, he's going to take a lot of damage. Is he going to die? No. Lucky.
We'll say all planned, I think, for his
Star
benefit.
points is what you need when you are the mid laner for Chiefs.
He's got them in spades at least. So
yes.
Chiefs, they're picking up a tower. Actually, 2, should I say, I think, as they push down mid lane. So 4-2, no, just the 1. In the absence of Claire and Haruka now, who are going to be back. And I mean, it's like Immunity make a good pick, and then Chiefs make a good pick as well.
Yeah, back and forwards this game.
And as a result, it's hard for either team to really start to chain sort of objectives or advantages together. We haven't seen a full-blown fight. Spooks very cheekily came in there with the Crow Storm to try and defend that tower, picked up Claire. He's doing a ton of damage, and finally he has his on his hourglass as well.
Right, and look at the ward coverage coming out now from Chiefs. It's everywhere in their jungle on the red side and even on the blue side of Immunity, but it's kind of nice, even area around the mid lane. Kind of makes me think they want to be spending as much time in this mid lane as possible. They've invested a lot of pink warding around that area so that they are safe. And Rosie going aggressive, trying to get that Dark Binding. Unfortunately, not going to hit it. Gets poked down a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. He has pots, so things are looking good now for Chiefs. They're going to try and do what they did again. Except this time they don't want to lose Spooks.
Well, I mean, they know that Claire is split pushing. Good culling there to force Rosie back. He goes very, very low, and it was a turret picked up there as well for Immunity. Care of the split pushing Claire. Haruka coming down as well. Didn't want to leave his team in a 3v5. Rosie went very, very low to that culling here. Hello, Crowstorm. Great use of the scrying orb there. Immunity going to be able to get out of trouble quick. Spooks wants to fight though. Flashes forward. Zonya up. Good shock blast on towards Zaha here. Swiffer going to come towards the backline, but it is still going to be a pick up there for Haruka. Now the chase is on. Swiffer trying to get away. He will have to flash that one. My God, when Spooks wants to fight, he really wants to fight.
That might have been a little bit of
miscommunication. Hello, Claire. Claire jumping straight on in there. It's going to be another kill for Haruka there. He should be able to get out. And I don't think Rosie was quite happy there to be spared. No. But Immunity, great fight for them. It was a 3 for none over the period. And Chiefs extending so far to try and fight, to try and take these objectives back. They're literally putting themselves in a position where they can throw this one.
Immunity kind of trying to group around Baron, but I don't think it would be the best of options. I reckon Radio and Swipe would be able to defend it pretty safely. But yeah, I mean, going back to that, Spooks, I think, was just on a different kind of train of thought compared to the rest of the rest of the Chiefs lineup, because, we saw Claire up in that bot lane, or down in that bot lane, whatever you want to say, pushing at that tower, and the rest of Chiefs was backing off, but Spooks saw the opportunity for the ulti and kind of took it, but no follow-up is not good.
Well, Boozer mobility on Zed is going to mean that he can get from A to B quite quickly. And I just don't think Chiefs probably forgot to look there. I think they were so focused on trying to force the fight, they weren't aware of where Claire was. And Claire wasn't even the defining factor in that fight. It was great culling out there from Uberbro as well. And then just a massive overextension from Spooks. Maybe still getting the feel of things for Fiddlesticks here. I did sort of predict he'd try and go for that pick. Maybe still needs a bit of time on that one here. Good shock blast, though. They're going to be very, very important for Chiefs. That is going to be the key to objectives for them now. Just again and again, they need to do it. Ooh, Mantra, Inner Flame. Spook's going low. He may have Zonya's, but he still gets chunked down by that poke. Look at the culling coming through now as well. Deathmark on towards Spooks. He's going to get popped. No, Zonya's good response there as well. Dragon goes over towards Immunity though in response. There we go. Spooks now finally dropping double kill. No, sorry, just the one for Zahe. We can see now Swiper coming forward. Oh, that's a good chase of corruption. Double kill coming out here for Swiffer. The chase is on. Rosie, you are a genius. Yeah. Fantastic work. Brings up the triple there for the Chiefs. A 3-for-1 fight, turning it right on his head.
That could be a match-winning Soul Shackles there from Rosie. We'll have to see how this game turns out, but definitely a nice turnaround from Chiefs there. And off the back of Rosie, I mean, that was fantastic play from him. They're going to pick up this mid lane, maybe even another one. Still 10 seconds on Claire. They're probably going to go for the safe option and back out.
It's funny, when you got a game like this where it's not fighting from the very beginning, you sort of build up to this critical mass where one play, one fight will decide the future or the way the rest of the game is going to play out. If there are any moments like that this game, that has probably got to be it. Yep. Chiefs really just breaking out there, still behind in gold, can I just say, and that's really because of the efforts of the split pushing Claire and Haruka taking those towers down 5-3. But I'll tell you what, and a good dragon pick up there as well for Immunity was pretty important. But it really got turned on there.
Immunity getting away with a free pink ward there. Swiffer tried to kill it with his shock blast, but unfortunately you can't actually hit wards with your shock blast, so sitting there in that death bush on 1 point left.
Right. Claire now looking for an opportunity here as well. The rest of Immunity positioned near the red buff side. Swiffer knows, though.
Double buff
the
Swiffer.
rest of the Chiefs. Yeah, he's pretty double buff for the band. And he's looking pretty comfortable here. Baron definitely being looked at here 28 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. That's definitely what Chiefs really need to start to make Immunity sweat if they're not already. Pink Ward in that bush. And he's going to spot out the ward place there. Look at that's the only problem is that Spooks is going to get chunked down quite heavily by that poke. It doesn't have a lot of armor aside from that Zonya's there, and it's not really quite enough. Essence Reaver, interestingly enough there for Swiffer. Pick that one up. More than happy to take that item in, and yeah, Muramana is complete, and those shock bars are hitting hard.
Oh, another one coming out. T-Gun out of position here.
Yeah, T-Gun going to get caught, and he's just going to get picked off very, very quickly. Popped. Cullen coming over the wall from Uberbro, but it's more insult than injury, I think, was the intent there. T-Gun's got to be very, very careful. That Karma's not the kind of champion that can afford to be caught out like that, and that actually might be an objective being handed over towards the Chiefs. There's no way Immunity can protect this one. I don't know. Yeah, T-Gun, if I was him, I wouldn't be too happy about that one at all. Inhibitor down. One misstep against Chiefs, and it could be the game.
Absolutely. Chiefs in the driver's seat at the moment, even though they are behind a little bit on gold. Claire doing his best to get this tower down, but the teleport coming out from Swiper. Nothing going to come of that, but Claire did get about a quarter of the damage down. Haruka in the bot lane as well. Lots of nice tower pushing coming out here from Immunity. These are nice rotations, I guess you could say, from their solo lanes. And
teleport here towards the Baron, and Chiefs are looking there as well. We saw Haruka making that move. Is this safe for Immunity to make? I'm not quite sure at this stage. Swiffer just going to come across as well. Pinkwater is in the bush. Claire getting chunked down by that shock blast. Immunity, they've got what it takes here to bring this one back. They are still in the lead. They've still got some items. It's really about the way that they actually conduct themselves in this next fight. Chiefs showing confidence. Is it a bluff? I don't know. Claire going low to another shock blast as well. As I said, every shock blast is going to count from Swiffer, and that may almost be the Baron in itself. Easily from Swiffer there just to nail that one, and Claire is in no position to contest it at all. Will Immunity try and do it? T-Gun around from the backside. That's very deep. We saw the Crow Storm coming out as well. Cullen coming straight through the lineup of the Chiefs. They're still healthy enough here. There's only 4 of Immunity there, but we can see Uberbro coming forward. Wants to put down as much damage as he can. Another shock blast. Uberbro down to 30% of his health. Chiefs can't take Baron here, but I really don't think Immunity can either.
No, I don't think that either of these teams really want to be hanging around there for too long. The Baron going to hurt them a little bit too much. And Spook's just going to try and kind of bring himself back up to full HP. I didn't really fancy that ulti from him coming out of that Baron pit.
I think it was more just to dissuade any attempt to actually engage. Yeah. I don't know if Immunity understood how low Claire actually was. I don't know if they saw that, but you're not going to walk into a Crow Storm. So maybe it's just to buy some time. But the Chiefs managed to get out fairly safe, but it was still quite dicey. And that is an indicator of just how close this game is. Immunity playing that early to mid really, really, really well. Their objective control has been fantastic now. It's their chance here just to try and close the book on this one, but the Chiefs are definitely not going to give up without a fight. It's going to have to be over Baron that this is fought, unless
they're really focusing on this Baron.
Well, I mean, Immunity. I don't expect either team to really
actually
get caught out, and any of the players just sort of get picked off, and then it'd be an easy Baron. This won't be an easy Baron for either team, but it is going to be the key to really start to get ahead for one of these two teams. They need that to start taking objectives. I mean, don't forget, Chiefs have that mid inhibitor for Immunity, so there's pressure on Immunity already. They need to keep the momentum up, and they need this Baron. They at least need a good fight there. Haruka going to split push. His teleport is not available. Chiefs look like they might want to work on Baron now.
Yeah, Haruka, that might have been a mistake showing himself in bot with no teleport up. Chiefs, yeah, immediately onto the Baron. It's already down to half HP, and a massive shock blast coming out on his T-Gun. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hit Uberbro.
T-Gun getting caught up there. Swiffer goes straight towards him there. Thundering blow enough to take him out, but let the death march towards Swiffer. That should be enough. Claire is in the mix now. Uberbro's was got to get back. A little bit dangerous here. Nice work there. Good mechanics by Claire. Has actually picked up Radiant now towards Swiper. Haruka is on top of him now. Claire will still be fine. Triple kill coming up for the Zed. A 3-for-1 fight. T-Gun the only one to fall there. We see the scrying orb going down the bush. Oh, the Crow Storm! Happy birthday! That's probably not the present I think that Zahe had in mind. But I think Spooks is happy enough with that one as well. Rosie a little bit caught here. Haruka jumping on him. Triforce doing a lot of damage there with that Irelia. As the smoke clears, a 4-for-2 fight for Immunity. Fantastic play. Spooks having to limp back towards base with his tail between his legs, and some valuable breathing room right now for Immunity.
Right, 2k gold there on Claire. He's going to be able to pick up a few items off that one. Maybe going to finish off a Black Cleaver or something like that. Yomu's, who knows? Depends what kind of direction he wants to go for. Of course, Chiefs as well. I mean, it wasn't really a game-winning fight there for Immunity. If they had picked up the Baron off the back of that, then Immunity probably would have been able to push a little bit more. But Spook's here, going to contest the Dragon.
There we go. So yeah, he's going to throw the Darkwind in. Haruka wants a bit of the Fiddlesticks, man, though. And the Drain probably won't be enough. I think if Haruka wants to fight, he can transcend a Blaze to give him back a little bit of health as well. Spook's in a 1v1, though. Haruka going to get jumped. There's right here. He's going to 1v1 against Uberbro as well. He's forced to jump right on out of there as well. Swiffer wants a bit of Haruka, though. Should be able to take him out. Very, very low is Haruka. Claire
is coming.
Not on the... Yeah, well, that's going to happen. Hard to dodge that shot at that range.
Yeah.
Radier very quickly thought twice about trying to fight Uberbro there. Turned tail almost as quick as he came into that fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did get that kill that he needed, which was the one on Claire, and kind of just got out after that. And now that's going to give Chiefs the opportunity to pick up this free Dragon. I mean, it's not a major objective at this stage in the game, but of course, every little bit of gold helps.
Well, considering that Immunity have been slowly but surely stringing together a few more successful team fights here, it's really important for Chiefs to pick up that Dragon, to send the bleeding a bit, to continue to keep in step with Immunity in terms of the items that are being built here. Immunity are building momentum. That is very, very dangerous, especially in their hands. Chiefs can play from behind, but Immunity, when they're ahead, are absolutely dominant. And T-Gun especially, like the way that he leads his team into those fights, even on Karma, it doesn't matter who, he is definitely going to be chomping at the bit to fight. This is an Immunity that have been let out of the cage, and they are definitely in a good spot here to take it to one game apiece.
This is kind of what we tend to see between these two teams, this kind of game. It tends to go pretty late. Chiefs in the last matchup they had were the ones that were ahead, and Immunity were kind of dragging it out. But in this situation, I guess you could say Immunity the ones that are ahead and Chiefs trying to claw their way back. Obviously, both these teams in this game, I feel, pretty evenly matched. Could go either way still at this stage. So we're looking for if Immunity win this one, we could have a really long Game 3 as well coming up ahead, which will be particularly interesting because these two teams do have so much history. Actually, something we haven't even mentioned is these two teams, or the majority of these two teams, were the two teams that were in the final of the CGPL 2013. And it turned out that Chiefs, which was then Immunity, actually won the championship.
All right, well, this is their chance to make it 2 from 2. T-Gun sitting on a ward there, completely unaware of that one. I think Claire as well doing the same thing. Haruka split pushing as per usual. Teleport available for him. Might be an issue for him to get down there. Oh my god, Shock Blast is nasty. Even T-Gun chunked quite low to that one as well. It's kind of hard not to react whenever I see a Shock Blast hit. We've seen a lot of them. It shouldn't be that remarkable, but it's really, really impactful for Chiefs to actually be able to come forward with a sense of comfort, a sense of confidence and safety as well. Swiffer just chunking those softer carries down. We can actually see a lock of the Iron Solari being picked up for T-Gun there as well. A little bit more defensive stats for him and his team. Another armor probably not going too astray as well when you're getting Shock Blast every 5 seconds.
And Chiefs trying to pull something out of the hat here, but no one from Immunity going to be walking down that mid lane. And really, we're getting to the point in the game where one team fight could spell a victory for either of these teams, depending on who kind of picks up the kills and who gets to stay alive in the team fight. If maybe an 80 carry is alive at the end of the fight and someone else on relatively decent HP, there could be a steamroll through some inhibitors and maybe even the Nexus. Just really depends on where the positioning of the fight is. So things are getting to the pointing end of the stick at the moment. And Sufa again spamming out those Shock Blasts.
Spook's also just using the Dark Wind on the race, trying to catch on to someone, maybe getting chunked. And about 70% of his health, and good work from T-Gun there, throwing out the Mantrid Inner Flame just to slow Chiefs up. Chiefs looking not really sure where they want to go at this stage. Dragon not available at the moment. And oh, hello, Claire, out of nowhere, tries to jump towards Swiffer. That was a very, very risky play, but now Swiper is going to cop a lot of the culling there towards him. Very, very low. Claire's still looking quite healthy, comparatively speaking. And the Bloodthirsty Shield being popped on Uberbro. Oh, hello. Yeah, Spooks in the middle of it there. Uberbro getting caught out completely now. They're coming forward. Chiefs want to fight this one, surely. Rosie looking for a Dark Binding. Doesn't manage to catch on to anyone, but the pick is enough. Haruka, in the meantime, though, going for the split push. Got to pick up a inhibitor for his troubles. Chiefs need to decide right now what they're going to do. Do they want the Baron? They have to. There is absolutely no time for them to make any mistake. Teleport available for Haruka now. They've sent back, they've sent Swiper back to defend it as well, but Teleport will come in for both of those top laners here. Uberbro is not up. This is not a good fight for Immunity to be making. The Haruka getting picked up as well. They're throwing everything at this Baron pit, and Immunity potentially putting themselves out of this game. Rady coming forward. This is Zaha having to jump out of that one as well. Gets jumped on as well. Look at Swiper coming forward. Easily gets in there. And T-Gun and Claire forced to try and fight against the Maokai 2v1. And I don't really know if that's even going to be enough. He is nigh unkillable. Swiffer going fairly low to Baron as he tries to take it. In the meantime, they did pick him up here. But I think Baron looking like it's going to go over towards Chiefs. Immunity too low to do anything about it. It was a hard fought for Baron, but on 4 players, make it 3. Rady might get popped by the death mark here. No, yes, it will be. And that very, very important to take the buff off the 80 carry. Rosie going quite low to that one as well. That was the messiest thing I've seen all day. Probably the messiest thing we will see all weekend. as the smoke clears.
Oh, T-Gun's in trouble.
Well, T-Gun actually want to fight Swiffer. Can he actually take him here?
Can.
Focus resolved.
No, he
nope.
can't.
Thundering blow sends T-Gun packing.
No ignite
back to
available
the fountain.
for T-Gun, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of damage on Swiffer. That's a pretty ballsy move. It's a 14-2, Jace. Yeah, I had a heart attack then. It was messy. Very hard to follow. Nonetheless, it's a Baron buff on 3 players of Chiefs here. And let's hope that they can use that to their advantage. I don't know if it's enough, though.
No, probably not. I mean, both these teams look pretty scared to initiate a team fight. It's really kind of just how... who gets what in this kind of position. I haven't really seen Spook get a really good Fiddle ultimate off yet. So, I mean, that could be the deciding factor. If he does hit one, that's going to be enough for Chiefs to get a victory out of this one.
We tick along to 39 minutes, almost 40 now into the game. And Baron buff on 3 members of Chiefs. They've got to start to push these waves out a little bit here. It's not enough for either team to be going on. Neither team really forging a significant advantage after a solid 40 minutes of play. The Baron going over towards Chiefs and the gold that came with it as well. Crucially keeping gold within 900 at this point of the game.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and we know how minuscule and insignificant that kind of gold difference is at this stage of the game. So both teams now looking to try and widen that, or at least, we're building up to a critical mass. It'd be one fight. If any team extends too far, and if we see an ace, it could well and truly be game over.
Yeah, Haruka getting absolutely massive now from all this split pushing he's been doing. He picked up those Berserker's Greaves ages ago, finally sort of coming to the fruition for him, because now he's doing all that split pushing and using that extra attack speed to clear the waves even faster. And, of course, the inhibitor's going down as well. But, gee, if he joins a fight, maybe something could go pretty well for Immunity. But, his teleports have been a little bit off.
Okay.
His last one at the Baron, he just got blown up completely.
Yeah, completely separated from the rest of his team, really. I think it was just because the ward was there to be teleporting to. Definitely not a wise decision, though. Now, Dragon going to go over towards Immunity there. A bit more gold in their pockets. It's 6 towers to 4. That inhibitor is down in the bottom. Let's not forget that one. Of course, the mid inhibitor for Immunity has long since respawned. They have the advantage there. Potential power play opportunity. Reindeer always having to go towards a bot lane to check, to try and push that wave out, to try and keep the minions out of the Chiefs' base. Looks like they want to set something up here, Spooks. If he stands still for any period of time, he's thinking of jumping in on something there, trying to use the alcove to get across. And I mean, a Dark Binding followed up by a Crow Storm, that is pretty potent. And really all the Chiefs want right now is a pick that's going to allow them to snowball it into some more objectives.
All right, what are we going to see these teams do? Both of them playing very defensive, sitting in their own half of the map, and really just clearing out these wards. It's a very, very slow game for the last 10 minutes or so. I do hear a fight going on, though.
So, well, they're a bit loud on stage. We'll have to see how that manifests here in the game. Again, house work being done, clearing the wards away. Red inhibitor respawning in that bottom side. Chiefs, this will be the time that they can actually extend. This will be the time that they can afford to maybe forget about the minions pushing towards their base and actually try and make a fight, really invest themselves in getting the better of Immunity right now. You can see them coming forward as well. Everyone trying to buy up. Look at those items. I mean, they're getting pretty scary. Yomi's Ghostblade coming out for Swiffer there as well. A lot of gold on all these guys and a heck of a lot on Swiffer in particular. He's making himself a focus target in this game. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Problem is, Immunity need to set up. They can't show themselves. They can't just stand in line in mid lane. They're going to get chopped to bits by shock blasts here. They've got to be very, very careful about the way they start fights. Zahe topside going to have to recall and return, and maybe it might be a push down mid. These teams are looking for something. Maybe even the next Baron. Maybe they're in it for the long haul here. We haven't seen any inclination towards really a head-to-head yet.
Yeah, so, again, the stalemate continues in the mid lane. So it's wave clear after wave clear for both these teams. Haruka's teleport is now up, so he's going to be looking to teleport from the top lane or the bot lane, from wherever he's split pushing into the fight. Don't know if that's maybe the best idea. Sometimes the teleport comes even a little bit late. If you even do it at the perfect time, as soon as I should say perfect time, a little bit late, even though if you do it straight away, it even maybe still come a little bit late in these late game team fights. That's how kind of important the first few seconds of a team fight really is, and a big shockwave coming out there for Zahe.
Yep, fairly standard now.
He'll be defending an inhibitor with no turret.
Claire is not there. Immunity surely have to give this one over. Chiefs know. Then we're going to go for the weaker points first. 2 minutes, and we will see Baron respawn. It's going to be a jump away from the Dark Binding there. A focus resolve there from T-Gun to try and lock up some Chiefs, but that'll be an inhibitor now. Is this a chance for Immunity to make a fight? Not quite sure. Rady getting chunked down a little bit as well. The entirety of Immunity are in attendance here. Chiefs going to go through. Now, they're feeling confident an inhibitor is down. And when there is a naked inhibitor in the bot lane for Chiefs, Immunity seem more concerned about defending at this stage than pushing out. Will this be their downfall?
I mean, I think they're probably just stalling out for that Baron. I mean, it's 1 minute 30. That's going to be the kind of deciding fight for this game, you would feel. And just kind of try and clear out those waves. Try and keep that mid lane from being pushed too far in so that they can actually contest the Baron as well. You can see Chiefs here sort of sitting around in that jungle, trying to be sneaky. Haruka heading down there. This could be risky.
Okay, teleport now. Recall, should I say, coming out from Chiefs. Haruka getting caught. He cannot be in his own jungle at this stage of the game. He's going to use Transcendent Blaze to get a bit of health and actually get him out there safely. But what was burnt now? Chiefs potentially caught out of positioning. We can see Immunity pushing down the mid lane. Can they take this in a turret? Crucial one for them as well. They've got to be careful not to get caught scrying or being used. Cat is out of the bag. Chiefs are closing in on their prey. Will they try to make a fight? No, Zahe instead wants to make a fight. Swift are going to get chunked down as well. Culling coming through. Zahe still alive somehow. Yes, he will go down, but of course, back to life in just a moment here. Rosie trying to get away. Swiping getting jumped on as well. Immunity going for him. Hammer and tongs we can see as well. Uber Bro in the background. It was a double kill that came up for Claire. All of a sudden, Chiefs lay broken and battered on the rift, and Spooks is the last man standing. He's back at base. It is a rush to finish this game.
Wow, T-Gun. He was so keen to get over that wall. He flashed over it for really no reason. But yeah, Spooks down in that bot lane on his own. 4v5 there for Chiefs, and obviously did not go well for them. And this could be the end of the game.
There it is. No, absolutely. Immunity pushing straight on here. Spooks trying to stop on Crowstorm coming out, but will it be enough? Nope. That's an ace now finally for Immunity as they push in on. They will clean up this Nexus, and they will make it one apiece. Finally, we're going to see a best of three properly. Yep. Immunity. Very slow start in that first game. Definitely wasn't impressive to say the least, but they have massively brought it back. They got through lane so well. The champion picks were fantastic. The way that they played as well around to the lane swap was really, really, really good. We were expecting to see aggression early on. We didn't. Immunity bringing it back up. Fantastic work.
Right, so that was really a very long game, and I'm actually very tired and very hungry. But we still have another game coming up just after this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as we can.
The signal between signal, untraceable, unhackable, uncensored. Welcome to Magenta Radio. First track is locked in, coming from the digital beyond, CGPL 3.0. So here we
flow through the metaphysical. This energy pits the bull against the inevitable. Invisible to the naked eye. Skills that I apply to fire the battle cry. Out of control, we spinning a cold. Ill like killing a cold. Still, I got the skill. Respect you, bet we own it. Come on, where's the next opponent?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Game 3 between Immunity and the Chiefs. It's all on the line for these guys, really. There's no second chances, no extra bites at the apple. Of course, we are here at the Australian Technology Park in Sydney for the Logitech CGPL Season 2 Championships. We're straight into the picks and bans for our third game. And, you know, a game that, second game, Immunity really, from start to finish, to be fair, if we look on paper and we look at how they play, they really were in control. They were
majority of the game, they were.
They didn't have a big lead, per se, but they were definitely within a whole time, never really slipped, weren't any big mistakes at all. Some plays that I thought were questionable actually worked out really, really well. So they definitely deserve to be in this Game 3, and now it's time to see if they can close it out.
Yeah, the issue really was Swiffer's damage was just crazy, and every time they would try to do something, they would just get absolutely poked out by Swiffer. And anyway, in the eventuality, they did end up winning, and now Chiefs will be looking to allow themselves to keep that title, because obviously they are the reigning CGPL champs.
Absolutely. It'd be, you know, if Immunity win this, it'll be probably the first time in a long, long time that we haven't seen Chiefs in one form or another not. Well, we haven't seen him in a final of some kind. So, you know, Chiefs obviously pride themselves in their ability to always sort of be in that game and most often winning it. Immunity are poised to topple them here. The question is, will that actually happen? Ban's already coming out here.
Really is interesting.
Yes, but Haruka was very effective on it. I think once you get that Triforce on her as well, her 1v1 potential is pretty darn good. And, you know, J.K. Smithy, really, I think he would have proved all the doubters wrong with the way he played that game. He was solid. He didn't get shoved out of lane. He split pushed really, really well. And now it's a lock-in Rise straight away from Swiper.
Yes, Swiper, absolutely massive on Rise. And what is Haruka going to be able to kind of go up against that on? Maybe the Maokai is an option. Irelia obviously taken away. He had a pretty decent game last game, but in his history, the Irelia wasn't a fantastic matchup against Rise.
No, I mean, Rise is a little bit tricky to deal with at the moment. I mean, Lulu's a possibility. I could take Lulu or Maokai, as you did say.
Yeah.
Could be one to be put up there. Or maybe they can leave that pick for now. And
I think they can leave it because, you know, there's no pressure to pick a top laner, seeing as they already know what the top laner is. There's no way that Chiefs are going to pick another top laner. Actually, it looks like they are going to Hover that, Maokai.
So
Get it out of the way then, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's like their pick probably isn't going to change from the first pick to the last pick if they've already seen his lane opponent. So Malco would be reasonable. Zahe on the Lee Sin. Spooks won't get that one. Spooks can go for the Kazakhs, or he can try for the Fiddlesticks again. But I think it didn't really work out the way
it wasn't
that...
as effective as I thought it would be.
I thought it would be a lot more effective, actually, yeah. But I have seen it be effective. I think that he was read very, very well by Immunity, though.
Yeah, definitely. That the scrying orb down in the middle lane especially was one thing that I remember where, they all knew exactly where he was. The scrying orb went down and they were already out of the way by the time his ulti had come off.
How crucial to be able to spot a Fiddlesticks just before he jumps on top of you as well. Like to have a bit of warning. Just that moment when it gets a little bit too quiet, you almost know that that's about when he's going to jump.
The calm before the storm. The Crow Storm.
Nonetheless, Jake's being picked up here for Swiffer. Rosie will actually opt for Janna in this case. Swiffer, dominant performance last game. His build I found interesting. The Essence Reaver and Naomi's Ghostblade didn't really make a lot of sense to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't really know sort of what the idea was there. I think a lot more efficient build pass to take it on Jace, especially when you're in a position as like 14-2 or something where you need to be carrying the game for your team. He was a big difference there, and it's a problem with Jace. He's so fragile, yet so powerful if he can get the poke down. So you've really got to strike a balance there between survivability. Well, why not? I mean, like this
pick for T-Gun.
Yeah, and it's maybe his last chance to sort of use it here as well. So why not? If he's confident about it, I mean, we'll have to really see how it works. We've already seen it once today, and Invincible didn't really put it to as good use as it could have been. However, I think everyone at home and everyone here is fairly familiar with the T-Gun Blitzcrank style. He's had Thresh taken away from him all day.
Game. Yeah.
So there's no way Chief's going to let him play that one. The Blitzcrank is going to be picked up here. It's going to be a Corki for Uber Bro as well. And now let's see what Chiefs have to respond with.
Yeah, Claire's the other option here. I wonder what he's going to pick up in the mid lane.
Will it be a Fiddlesticks again? Really? Spooks wants to persist with that pick. Maybe he's feeling more comfortable with it in this particular scenario. And Radier would be quite happy for his Lucian now. Obviously, or Twitch. Twitch, I don't really know how it works out. I know Radier's been practicing it. A lot of people have been.
Yeah.
Is it time to bring that out?
I'd sooner see him on the Lucian, to be honest.